when we go to high school, we all have a first crush. That first chick, woman, girl, for you feminists out there.
Dudes, for you gay guys out there. You know that Tim Dillon had this like amazing point?
Oh my God. This podcast is going to ruin me.
So Tim Dillon once said, only gay guys can experience, true pedophilia. And I was like, what? And
do you know what? You're really fucking up this podcast. and I'll tell you why. Because I intentionally speak with clips in mind.
Yeah.
And when you disrupt the clip,
yeah,
I'm going to start all over again or just not use it at all.
Let me tell you about Tim Dillon's pedophile idea, right? He'd come on the show and he talked about, listen, only a gay guy gets to legally experience young boys. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
When I was living in Australia, so Bilal would be Bill, Samir would be Sam, and then you have random names, right? So it's like, I'm Hussain. I'm like, fuck it, call me Tony. I need a name too. But because the problem was, as Hussain.
Sure.
How do you say it? Say Hussain.
Hussain.
Over there, so I had a lot of jobs on the phone.
Hassan?
So, when you have a phone job, so people listen to you on the phone, call center stuff. And I'm like, Hussain, and they'd be like, Jose. And I'm like, sí, señor, ¿qué pasa?
So you just designated yourself as a Mexican and moved on with your life.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why not? You know what I mean? I could pass for a Mexican, I think. But I went with, you know what? So I had my night name is Tony, and my day name is Hussain. And I kept that in Dubai as well.
I understand.
But I know what you're talking about, just putting a nickname on, you know what I mean?
It's not so
But I just feel weird. I can't give myself a fake name.
But don't you feel like the perceptions that people, especially in the West, have when they hear a Middle Eastern name?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I couldn't live with.
Okay. There's a very interesting point you bring up, and I'll tell you what. So if I'm a 23-year-old living in Australia, and for all the Australians listening, they can take this into consideration of the pain that we have to go through, right? So I have the worst name in that situation. What's my name? Hussain, Husaini. Hussain. I'm like, is your father Saddam? And I'm like, yeah, he is. What are you going to do? But, okay, in the West, people don't put pictures on a resume.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say in Bahrain, when people applying for a job, they always put a photo on their CVs.
Yeah, they do. That's very true.
And this is an interesting topic by itself, and I'll tell you why. Because in the West, by the way, you do not put photos on your CVs, right? It's very professional because they have anti-discrimination laws and many other laws, right? So, you should judge a CV equally, when someone's applying. And so what is abundantly clear that's different is your name. So if your name's Hussain, and it doesn't matter how qualified you are or what you're doing, you're getting way less job interviews. And I tested this theory, by the way. So in case anyone's calling out bullshit on this, I tested this theory. I changed my name.
I can add to that. My business teacher back in A-levels was one of those characters who just knew how to hustle. I swear he took a teaching position so he wouldn't end up in jail. That's the only thing I can think of. He would go he would go by old jewelry stores that were going out of business and just buying it up for the carpet.
Yeah.
So he could take the carpet and then all the dust gold and any kind of thing that fell on the carpet.
Where was he from?
He was a Jew from New York, I think. Okay. I don't know how he ended up in the UK of all places.
I mean, a lot of Jews in New York.
And he had another story, which was, so he did this, where he made 2 CVs at one point. This was one of his business hustles. One, with 2 identical names, right? But with different, activity, same exact experience, same exact positions, everything, yada, yada, except for activities. One he would make purposely be very, Indian, cricket, blah, blah, blah. And
why Indian, though? Very random.
It makes sense in a second. And then the other, very typical British, right? And then he would send those receipts out, right? And then whenever the Indian one was rejected, he would then sue them for discrimination. And before it would even get to court,
He's got his lawyer ready. Do you know what? I don't need a job. I just need to sue enough people, and I'm an entrepreneur. This is my hustle. That totally makes sense.
And he said it never once got to court. They always settled.
That is insane. So that was his business.
He was doing that every single day.
Trying to be a minority and take advantage, whilst real minorities get nothing.
Isn't that genius?
That is genius. I feel bad for the actual minorities who actually get discriminated and make no money out of it.
He said in some of the good months he would get payouts of over 200K.
That is insane. Oh my God. What have I been doing with my life? You're actually making me feel bad about my life now. Because I'll be honest, like, when I went to Australia, I had no money, right? I moved from London to Australia. I literally had just graduated at this point.
Why Australia, though?
Because I'm Australian.
Okay. Passport-wise.
Okay. Aussie, oi, oi, oi. But I mean, I grew up there as well, right? So I had the passport. But the last time I went to Australia as an adult, so I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. So I didn't remember anything about Australia, except that, you got nice beaches, nice views, and all that stuff. But I never didn't have people to connect with when I first got there.
Okay.
And when I went there, I had 3 months survival money. Okay. I sold the only asset that I had when I was in London, because I was living in London, was married, and I just graduated from university, and I was like, I had enough of London. London can be a very depressing place, by the way.
So what got you out of London?
London, I'm sorry for the people from London, but London kind of sucks, okay? Have you lived in London?
For 10 years.
Did you enjoy it?
I still have property there, so
Did you enjoy it?
Clearly, if I still have property there, so clearly.
I mean, it's a great place to have property, but did you enjoy the lifestyle, the living there? When it comes to winter, it's so cold, it's always dark, it's always gray. I say every time you put your hands in your pocket, at that time it was Tony Blair, Tony Blair's hands already there. You're paying road tax, this tax, TV tax. If you're blind,
you have tax.
You're still paying audio tax. That's ridiculous, right? So, and then it's like, if you can see, if you're deaf, you're paying a listening tax. There's a tax for everything. And I was like, as a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, whatever it was at that time, so it feels like a lifetime ago now, it wasn't the right place for me. I didn't want to be there, go through the rat race. Everyone's living in a rat race. Have you ever been on the tube there?
Of course.
All right, so when you go on the tube, have you ever met a happy person on the tube?
No, you're right.
Everyone's either grumpy. Back in the day, they would be reading newspapers or books because that was what people used to do. Now that they have phones, the last time you go, you realize everyone literally is on their phone, right? The whole time. No one looks at you. If you look at someone the wrong way, what are you looking at, bruh? It's weird like that.
I feel like that happens on a bus more likely than that would happen on a
train,
tube.
Anything. I mean, the thing is there's a reason for this, is because everyone's living in the rat race, unhappy with their own lives. They don't have time for your shit, right? They don't. I'm miserable already. Stop trying to interrupt yourself in my life. You know what I mean? And then when I went to Australia, the amazing thing about Australia, and I swear I love this country, and I would say, out of all countries in the world, is probably one of my favorite countries to live.
What?
100%.
That nanny state?
That nanny state, you call it a nanny state. I call it a state that cares.
What do you mean the state that cares? They wanted to fucking make it illegal to be your own farmer down there.
Do you know what? When you're in Australia,
okay,
and I've lived in the West most of my life,
okay,
and you pay taxes when you're in the West, and the only country I was happy to pay taxes was Australia. And I would gladly be like, take my 30%, 40%, whatever it is, because I can see my tax money being spent in front of my eyes.
Okay.
And I can see the value of where it's going. For example, when my wife had a child there, so you're going to a public hospital, right? Government hospital, as you call it. So, if you're in England, in America, I don't even know if you have public hospitals. Like everyone has to have insurance. In England, you've got the NHS, so they can go through public hospital systems. You see how grumpy everyone is over there. You don't want to be there. And then in Bahrain, for example, we all go to private hospitals, right? Because we don't want to go to Salmani or whatever. No, because we don't want to wait in line or whatever it is. I'm talking about births. With births, everyone goes to a private hospital here. A majority of people anyway. And the thing is, I could tell you that the difference. I had a son born in Bahrain.
Sure.
And a son born in Australia.
Yeah.
So I can give you a direct comparison of my experience.
And the smarter one was born in Australia. Is that what you're saying?
I don't discriminate by my children.
You're the one who's saying oh yeah, the Australian one was so good.
I'm talking about the service.
Sure.
Right? The experience for me as a parent.
Sure.
So in Australia.
Did you have to put a lot of hard work into the childbirth? I imagine. It's good that you're airing your criticisms.
Let me walk you through this process, okay? Let me walk you through this.
Tell me how difficult it was for you to give childbirth. Go on.
Hey, and I'm not even the woman. I'm sure if you ask my ex-wife, she'll
You're
give
just
you
the
a
one
much
paying.
better story.
It makes sense.
Well, in Australia, I'm not paying.
Okay.
There you go. See, so in Australia, it's free.
Yeah, you're paying indirectly because they take it out of your fucking salary.
Well, the whole country is contributing, which makes sense.
Also, you're a smoker.
So someone else's child, I'm contributing to, right? Through my taxes. So we're all helping each other. That kind of makes sense.
Fuck them.
But let me tell you. So when my firstborn son, Ali, was born in Australia, obviously government experience, right? It felt way more private and VIP and luxury than any private hospital you'd give me in Bahrain. 100 times more. And you know what happens? So on the day that he was born, right? By the way, over there they give you the option. Do you want a water birth at home, or do you want to come to the clinic? People can, some people are into water births, right? Where they put you in a tub and stuff like that. But then they'll send a nurse over to watch it over for you and take you through that whole process, a midwife.
My mom had her firstborn son in home birth because she was so worried that they'd get the children mixed up in the hospital.
Yeah, mixed up.
Yeah, that's that was her fear.
Was there some case that happened at the time? Because I remember I've heard of maybe a one-off case, but you know how you're talking about your mom, so we're talking about many years ago, before internet days, right?
Sure.
Where it was
my mom,
if a big news came out, the whole world would be like, oh my God, right?
We were talking about my mom, my brother was born when she was 16 or 15. So my mom started early having kids.
Kudos.
And so she was telling me that during the time, this was just after the Second World War, 1960s, just after, 20 years after, there was a lot of mix-ups.
Yeah.
And just recently there was an article I remember reading.
Which country was this, by the way?
This was in Germany.
Germany. But her son would be a different color.
Well, my mom is German.
Compared to your mom's German?
She's my half-brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So what was I about to say? Yeah, so I just recently read in a newspaper that a nurse on her deathbed admitted that she switched close to 5,000 children.
You know what? I think I've read that.
How do you deal with somebody like that?
That is insane. And I think, as in our culture anyway, when a birth happens, we're very close by the way. So we're watching, So the woman's giving birth, right? And that's very difficult. But as a man, you're watching, where is this kid going? You're monitoring the situation because obviously it's a very delicate situation. But yeah, that's insane, to have these birth swap situations. But coming back to this point that when Ali was born, there's something they did that no one does in Bahrain. And I didn't even know this was a thing. The thing is, they walk you through the process, right? So they explain to you every step. This is going to happen, this is going to happen. So when he was born, I was in the room, by the way. In Bahrain, they kick you out of the room. In Bahrain, they're like, mothers only, midwife, aunties, whatever. Bring the woman in,
I like
the man going.
I like that. I like that.
You know what? I have to agree with Bahrain on this.
Talk about backpedaling.
Do you know what? Once you have this vision, it's very hard to take. It's burnt in your memory. It's something that men should not really see.
I agree with that. I don't think everything in the world needs to be seen.
Okay, I can agree with that. But anyway, they're all about that connection. So cool. I was in the room, saw it happen, but it made me cry. You know when you actually see the physical delivery of your child?
Sure.
I never cried, by the way. I was in tears like a baby. And then immediately they take the baby and they put him on the mother, right? To start getting milk. Why? Because they're like, if the kid doesn't start suckling immediately, they might never.
Okay.
Right? Which is very interesting.
Okay.
So this is not something that happens here. This is a theory. This is a scientific theory they have there. But this is the reason why, okay, if we go to our culture, which no one actually does, but the Prophet would say, give the child a date immediately. Just get it suckling something. Because if a child doesn't suckle, it might never suckle.
That's how they did with my uncle.
In what sense?
Like because my dad comes from Anetz, a small town near Jabail, and my grandmother, I think she had like 6 or 7 kids, but only about 3 survived. I mean, we're talking about an era before electricity was going out and about.
Yeah.
And so they didn't, in that village, they didn't even have like a proper doctor.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a lady who God bless her heart, when she saw a eclipse, she would take out pants and hit them because to drive away
bad omens. Yeah.
So I'm sure that happened. I'm 100% sure that happened with my uncle.
It's really interesting that because, like how much truth or not are in these theories. I believe that there's a lot of truths in some of these theories. Like, for example...
The pan hitting? I don't think there's a lot of...
I don't know about the pan hitting, but I mean, like, for example, there's also shave the kid's hair off when he's born.
I don't know about that.
So he gets better growing hair later. This is actually comes from a hadith from the Prophet, right? So I did it anyway.
I don't doubt it.
I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know the science behind it. I'm like, let me just do it anyway.
So did they do that in Bahrain hospital?
I did that.
You did that?
Like, yeah. So
to both your kids in Australia.
It's nothing to do with the government. Like, this is something I did.
Okay.
Like, just let's test this theory. Yeah. What do I have to lose anyway? You know what I mean? Kid loses hair for a little bit. Mashallah, they have amazing hair at the moment. So
clearly it didn't work out with me.
Yeah, I feel like maybe someone didn't shave my hair either.
What was like the Australian process like with the whole childbirth thing? Were you then like there for a couple of days, then they left you out, or how was it? Is there a difference in Bahrain?
That's the interesting thing. So you have the baby, she's there a couple of days, go home. When you go home, they don't leave you alone. So they send out a nurse to your house like once a week or once every 2 weeks to just check on you, make sure you know what you're doing, make sure you know how to feed, make sure you know how to change the pampers, the diapers, everything. So they take you step by step through the process after birth, which is amazing. That's what I'm telling you, which obviously you're not going to get that experience here because in a private clinic, that'd be a cost, right? So in a public setting, that's just a value add. And so they give you that for like a month. And then they have support groups of women who've given birth around in your area. And you can go, the women can go meet up once a week in a support group, take notes off each other and all of this stuff. Like that is incredible, and you get all of that complimentary. Plus the cherry on top, they pay you $5,000.
To have a kid.
To have a kid.
Okay.
So you just get, here you go, $5,000 cash. Thanks for having a kid.
Okay.
And then people start abusing that, obviously, as you'd imagine. And don't want to be discriminatory, but mostly it's the ethnic groups that start abusing that, start having 10 kids and buying plasma TVs instead.
I love it.
So what they did instead was like, okay, how do we control this? Again, very smart, very clever. Like instead of giving you the $5,000, they'll still give you $5,000, but they'll pay you in installments every 2 weeks until the $5,000's paid, to make sure you're not buying a car instead of actually buying diapers or food for your child.
It's interesting because that $5,000 isn't free, right? I mean, you're paying a percentage to it.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you're earning income in that country, you're taxed on it, right? And that $5,000 must be coming from not just everyone's taxes, but also from your personal
taxes. Every country in the world outside of the Middle East is taxed. Most countries, like 90% of the world is taxed. If you're living in the UK, America, anywhere, in Europe, you know what I mean? You're paying tax. Everyone is paying tax. So what I'm comparing this to is a tax-paying country versus a tax-paying country. Not comparing it to a non-tax-paying country.
Okay.
And I'm saying the benefits you get in Australia is way higher than any of these other tax-paying countries.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So you're comparing West to West.
Apples and apples.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not comparing it to Bahrain where you're not paying any income tax, right?
But don't you feel like it's such a nanny state? Now they said like you can't even buy cigarettes if you were born after a certain year. They're like, no, we're not going to sell any more cigarettes to 18-year-olds.
Do you know what?
Because they're increasing the age limit every year.
I'm a smoker.
Sure.
And when I first went to Australia the last time I lived there, a pack of cigarettes would cost me like $10, $11, something like that.
5 BD, basically.
5 BD, something like that. By the time I left, it was $25 for the same pack of cigarettes.
Fuck off.
Because of the tax.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to shisha, so before, the small pack of masa that you would get, shisha tobacco, that used to be $10. Then they changed the law and said, instead of charging you based on the nicotine, we're going to charge you based on weight. So that $10 pack ended up becoming like $100 or something crazy, like $50, $50 from $10 to $50.
25 BD, that's insane.
But as a smoker, I have to say, I would never encourage anyone to smoke.
Okay.
I mean, I smoke, right?
Okay.
But if I could go back in time and choose whether I'd smoke or not, we all start this at an early age. We know it's not good for our health.
Sure.
Forget the health side. It's also going to cost you money.
Okay.
It makes you smell, whatever. You know what I mean? So I would not want my kids to smoke. So I'm not against this in the sense of I can see...
You love really autocratic societies.
No,
by the sound of it. Jesus Christ.
I can see the benefit of building a future generation, right?
Yeah.
So they say, show me great mothers and I'll show you a great nation.
Okay.
Right?
I never heard this, but let's pretend so, okay?
It was actually a very famous...
feminist who wrote that. I can't imagine. Milton Freeman writing that.
No. This is actually like, it's not Napoleon. I don't know. It's a very ancient thing. Anyway, we'll Google it later.
Dan, Lou, look it up.
Can you please look it up? Like, show me.
Oh, I already have you on fucking Insta.
You got the whole Joe Rogan set up here.
I'm telling you, man. This is the nice part. If you're an audio listener, we'll read it out for you. Who's it by?
Show me great. And I'm looking for an old.
Show me great mothers, and I will show you. And I'll
give you.
Give me a good mother. Female education. No shit.
No. By the way, Napoleon. See.
Where was it? Where did you see it?
The first link.
That's just an image.
Above that, there's text, right? Very famous quote from Napoleon.
Give me a good mother. Dude, I mean, if it comes from a website called Blogspot, I'm not going to take it as fucking...
It's actually everywhere. So it is Napoleon, right? So,
all right, let's
it's true because it's how you nurture society will change the world, right? So what does that really mean? It means let me educate and bring up your kids in a certain way today, and that will change the future tomorrow, right? Because they are the future. We're not. We're the dinosaurs going out. Now, if you think about that, where is our world today? What do you think would be the next 10, 20, or the next generation? And then I'm so worried about the next generation, let alone the generation after that. I mean, if you look at I'm sorry to say, even my my own kids' generation.
Okay. Am I speaking to Gary Vee here? Sorry.
People are becoming dumber and dumber and dumber through the way the media forces them to be. And what do I mean by that? It's like, okay, if you look at TikTok today. TikTok's a great
we're getting into this. Okay.
So we started a couple of years back. I'll take you to an interesting time. So I came to Bahrain 12, 13 years ago, something like that. And when I was doing my marketing thing, I was working with Zain. Right, Zain wanted to give away a phone for a competition, and they were like, "Okay, how do we give away this phone?" It was a social media competition. I said, "You know what? Let the contestants send us a video saying why they deserve to get this BlackBerry." It was a BlackBerry giveaway. People would be like, "Haram, bro! You want women to come on a video on the internet and show their face and say why they should get a phone?
Then just
Haram!
Then just don't accept the female applicants.
Listen, that was, no, but it's not even the point. The point is that was 10 years ago. What are we seeing today?
Okay.
Compare that mindset to the mindset today.
Okay.
So we started with can't even put your picture online. It's against culture and it's against society. Then video, no way you could do your video because you're going to show your voice and you're going to show more characteristics. No way, totally banned, right? And you know, I'm a very out there. I was like, videos for me were normal.
Lou, give me a whiskey and Coke. Thank you, Lou.
Right? So imagine 10 years ago for a woman to come on video was seen as like haram in society here. I've come from Australia, bro. To me, I'm like, bro, it's so normal. You know what I mean? But for them, it's like, no, you can't do it.
Okay.
What are we seeing today? You know, we went from that 10 years ago. So we're not going to the ancient times here.
Okay.
And then 5 years later, cool. Instagram came. Now we have photos, you know, just normal photos, cool. Now these photos become, you know, more and more provocative in one sense.
Okay.
Because the world is becoming more provocative.
I have this confused face on my face because this sounds like cognitive dissonance. One moment you're telling me about how you like encouraging it is for women to be on camera, and the next moment you're telling me, oh, you know, Andrew Tate is like philosophy is on the fucking point.
I don't think you should be confused because I'm actually trying to explain to you.
Let's hear it.
The timeline.
Okay.
Of what actually happened. Right?
Okay.
So I'm saying in 10 years. And I'm talking about in the Middle East, we went from can't be on camera to, okay, now we've got photos online and through Instagram, was it photo app? You know what I mean? So everyone's sharing pictures and stuff. To now, then it came videos, cool. Now TikTok is just like the attention span. I'm talking about not just being provocative, but the attention span. Have you ever gone on TikTok lives? I have to talk about this. And do you ever browse TikTok lives?
I try not to.
In the Middle East.
I try not to, but yeah, I have.
Do you ever see the provocative stuff I'm talking about?
I have never, like, I won't lie to you. On my TikTok on this company's TikTok or my personal one, I don't get anything from regional.
Not your personal. I'm just saying, okay, if
I don't get anything regionally.
So
the algorithm doesn't show me anything regionally. It's not like I'm purposely not like.
No, I get it, and what I'm
so that's what I'm trying to understand. What do they show? What are people doing here?
So I'm saying it's amazing how human behavior has changed. So we started with no, we're too respectful to even put content out there. We don't want people to look at us or judge us or whatever. To now it's okay to put content out there. To now it's okay to push the envelope on content out there. To now let's start begging people to send us a flower or a coin by showing.
Pussy?
Obviously not pussy, right? Because I will show you account. I will show you accounts where they're wearing the niqab just on the face.
Would you like a top up from your Coke, by the way?
Sure. Actually, not right now. Not right now.
Up to you, dude.
Still full.
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers. So it's like you're seeing like a woman with a niqab on her face. And then everything hanging out. Okay. And, oh, send me a flower, send me bakshish or whatever it is in that TikTok community that they do.
Okay.
Which is basically send me tips.
Okay.
You know, you can pay people.
Yeah.
People make a living off doing live streams on TikTok.
Do they really?
Yeah, because you actually...
How much money are we talking about?
All right, so people can send from like $2 to $50 to $100.
No, how much like money is a creator generally making?
All right, so I don't know
the specifics
here how much creators generating. I know from a friend who does this, but not like actually has a proper account.
Oh, okay.
Which I would call a respectful account.
Okay, I thought you had like a cool friend.
I'm dying to get 1,000 followers to go live. Why? Because I see these people go live, start speaking to random people on lives where they're begging for coins.
Sure.
And I just want to go on the channel and set them straight.
What? Okay. What?
Do you know they have this? Have you ever seen the TikTok competitions?
Yeah.
When they're live.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, guys, come on! You know, those stickers that they're getting is money in their pocket.
No, I understand that part, but I'm confused the part of you being like, oh fuck yeah, I want to fucking like get this live feature so I can check out girls who are naked, not because they're naked, but so I can set them straight about being naked. No. That's the part. I'm like, what?
I watch these lives and I'm like, someone's got to have a conversation here.
Okay.
I would love to do that, but
We're gonna cut this part and we're gonna fucking post this as the perfect like story piece. Tell me more about this girls you like watching naked on TikTok.
have you never? By the way, have you actually never seen this?
It doesn't show up on my feed. I'm not fucking with you.
If you see it, excuse the. I was gonna say you'll pull your hair out.
Sure, but that's not an issue with me.
No, but I'm joking. But
No worries.
but there is some actual like I cringe.
I don't doubt it. Like, listen, I don't doubt it. I know that like fucking Twitter, like one of the hashtags is like massage parlor or something like that. That's constantly like trending here in Bahrain area.
Bro, it's my problem with this whole thing. I mean, people can do what they want, right? And I'm not here to tell people what they should or shouldn't do.
Hey, you're not stopping someone from income, right?
I'm not stopping anyone from income. They can all do what they want. The whole reason I brought this up is because I said, what is my kids' generation going to be, and what is their kids' generation going to be? So if we've got in a span of 10 years from can't do anything, can't post anything, everything's haram, to now going all out, right? And that's 10 years. What the hell is the next 20 years going to look like? And if you actually speak out about this, so like, for example, even if you did clip this today, you're going to see people backlashing. Oh my God, he's against women, or he's against freedom, or against whatever.
Okay.
When I'm just saying be respectful.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. If you're an average dude, you know, earning an average income in Bahrain, which is what, like about 20K salary, 10K salary?
No. I mean, well, 10K maybe.
10K.
Okay, let's call it monthly. I would say the average salary here maybe is 500 dinars.
So 500 dinars, fine. So let's say the average is 500, and you have a daughter who goes on OnlyFans and is earning 100K
No
a
way,
month,
bro. Like,
a month.
listen.
How are you going to control that daughter? Do you get what I'm saying?
By being a good father.
I don't know if you can control.
I think you either got to be a good father, you got to be a good husband in that case, because a lot of these OnlyFans chicks have husbands.
Sure.
Okay, let's talk. Let's actually talk about this. As a father, I would never accept this.
That's fine.
But I cannot force it because we're not living in some ancient time, right? So I have to be able to educate enough to hopefully have brought her up with values that she wouldn't want to.
I hear you. I do. But this is why I'm just trying to really hone in and really sniper on this issue, is that if you're earning 500 BD a month and your daughter is earning 100 fucking K, that's a very difficult conversation to have with your daughter who has so much financial power over you. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I get you. You can be there and be like, hey, you know what? This is haram. Hey, you know what?
But you know what? Can I reverse this conversation on you then? Let's say you had a daughter on OnlyFans doing 100K. Right? Which, by the way, most of them don't do 100K. So let's say they do like 10K.
Fine. That's still a fuck.
So good. It's so great, right? But for them to make that 10K, obviously you know what they need to do.
Sure.
They need to show themselves, and do these weird videos, etc. And for them to even get those fans onto OnlyFans who pay means they need to publicly, on the free platforms, show even more skin, do even more...
Reddit, Twitter, whatever.
They need to market that platform, right?
Sure.
Listen, at the end of the day, you opening an OnlyFans account and being naked doesn't mean you make money.
That's absolutely true.
Marketing is still everything.
Sure.
So you still need to market yourself.
Okay.
Still need to be that highlight that people want to pay $30 a month for.
So what you're saying is that you need to DM your cousins, your uncles, and like...
what I'm saying is... My business is marketing, and I know. And I'm like, look, if a girl came today, made an OnlyFans account, she's not making any money unless her free accounts have enough exposure and views.
Yeah, I get that. Fair enough.
It's a marketing game. But for her to get there, she would obviously have to do a lot that the father that you're talking about wouldn't be happy with.
Sure.
Right? Now, if we're talking purely financially here, right? And that's what you actually brought up. So it's 100K versus 500 dinars, right? What is the father going to say? By the way, I'm sure a lot of fathers would be like, cool, go for it.
No, I'm not talking about it from a moralistic standpoint. I'm just saying
it's a difficult conversation.
It's very hard for the dad to be like, no, you're not going to do this when your daughter has so much financial power.
She doesn't need to listen to you.
That's the scary part to me.
She's got her freedom. That is so scary.
Because
she's driving her Ferrari, chilling, all right, dad, not interested. I'm going to go buy my own house right now as I get my 5-star hotels and when I'm traveling on my private jet.
That's
You
what I'm
can be
saying.
unhappy if you want.
That's what I'm saying. That's what scares me so
That
much.
is scary. That is scary.
From like, I'm not a parent, obviously, but that would be scary to me. Is that you have zero say at that point, right?
It's super scary.
And the worst part is with that kind of like influence and power, she can ruin your life, which is even worse.
Obviously, she's your daughter, so she's not going to ruin your life. But it is a very scary thought that with the wrong, and this is my whole. This is actually the whole point of this conversation, is that once everything gets normalized,
Sure.
right? See, I believe that if you cross a line once, and when I say cross a line, I mean, I'm talking about your own morals and your own value, right? It doesn't have to be illegal.
Okay.
Just whatever your morals and values are. You cross that line once, that line doesn't exist anymore. Now that becomes normal. Then you cross a new line, then that becomes normal. Then and so on and so forth, right?
Okay.
So with the fear and the scary thought that you're saying is like, okay, so if I post X today, it's a bit out there, isn't it? But now it's normal because I already did it. And now society, I'm talking about as a society as a whole.
Okay, from a macro perspective.
From a macro perspective. No, I'm not judging anyone individually, right? So on a macro perspective, this is normal. So for today, for example, if we're not living in the Middle East and you said, we met a girl and she has an OnlyFans account, we'd be like, awesome, you're cool, you rock. We're already there, by the way. You having an OnlyFans account does not affect your reputation. In fact, in a lot of ways, you get more clout from it. You know what I mean? If you watch YouTube, right, what's going on, like, normal YouTube, the popular channels in the West, they're like, oh man, she has an OnlyFans, she's making $1 million a month. She's seen as a top G.
But what are you offering to that girl then?
Nothing. What am I offering her?
Do you get what I'm saying? I mean, like,
What do you mean?
This is like men have to bring something to a relationship, right? And it used to be that the burden of finance used to be on men. Men had to make sure that procurement, that people ate,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
That whole dialogue is gone. So what asset are you bringing to that girl for her to be like, oh, I need to fucking date this fucking...
But that's the thing.
I need to date Tony, right?
I wouldn't want to be with that girl. Period. Right?
Sure.
But I'm saying I still have my intrinsic values where if I'm serious about someone, I wouldn't want them to be out there.
Okay.
I'm not saying they should be hidden. I'm saying they should be normal, respectful as much as I am. Right? But I wouldn't want her to be naked on the internet.
Okay.
Right? For everyone to see. And they'd be like, oh, that's Hussain's wife or girlfriend or whatever.
Okay.
That's, to me, I still have values, and that's a disrespect. That's a cheap girl, as far as I'm concerned. A cheap girl is getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's how I would define it.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're looking...
You want to talk about feminism, you want to talk about equal rights or whatever, go get a real job, go hustle, go make your money in a way that's respectful.
And I can already hear the dialogue in my head because they're going to be like, well, you broke ass son of a bitch.
Yeah, you brokey. You brokey.
I'm earning your fucking yearly salary.
But let them go meet a dude who's okay with it. For every woman, there's a man, and for every man, there's a woman. I do believe that.
Dude, from Liverpool, I used to know this guy. Hey, Adam, best of luck to you in life. He was telling me about his dream in life was to just marry a rich girl and then just be taken care of.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, there is nothing that you can bring to this relationship that girl would want to date you. What is it that you're going to bring to her, right? I mean, you're not...
What value you adding?
What value you adding, right? I mean, if she's just looking for cock, she can find it from a lot more handsomer guys than you fucking Adam, who has a Liverpudlian accent. So I don't get that.
That is a funny point you bring up because...
It's a value proposition.
I don't think...
You're an Andrew Tate man, so
I don't think women specifically are with a guy, because you brought up the cock. Women are not specifically with a guy for either the physical appearance or I don't know about that. Listen, the whole red pill community tries to push this high value man, and every woman wants a high value man, etc., etc. But I think at the end of the day, maybe these are points that would attract the woman to him in the first place to have a conversation with him. But women are very emotional creatures, meaning if they love someone, they're loyal to that person, right? They're not like men, where it's like with men, it's like you're with a girl and then you see a hot, even if she's not even hotter, you're still going to be like, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. You know, and you're like almost like animal instinct. You can move around. Whereas for a woman to sleep with someone, she has to have some sort of emotional feeling to him. And normally when she has that feeling to him, it's a lot to do with his personality as well. And then she becomes loyal to that person, you know, during that time. And if she does cheat on him, it's because the man has done something wrong in this relationship that she's now not happy with. It's probably taken time for him, doing it constantly. You know what I mean? That she just doesn't want to be with him anymore. And that's why she's cheated. She's cheated not because she wants to cheat on the side. She's cheated because she wants to leave.
I don't know if that's true.
Whereas a man would cheat and still come back.
I knew this girl. I'm not going to say her name because I'm nice in that way. But I know her very well. And she was dating 5 to 6 guys at the same time. And
that's the minority. My point is that's the minority.
Do you think that's the minority?
I think that's the minority.
I think this is very typical.
I think... I don't know about this girl that you're talking about. But
Have you been to London?
But I think women do date multiple guys. I do agree with that.
It's happening.
Whilst they're looking for the right guy. So the reason they're dating multiple guys is because they're not sure about one specific guy. So they're waiting to see, because like, oh, should I settle with him? Oh, maybe that one's better. But maybe that one's better. But my point wasn't that they can't date multiple guys. It's that they tend to sleep with one.
No.
And okay, in your situation, what you're talking about, that is the minority.
No, I think this is like you just brought up, right? That normalization on TikTok and OnlyFans and all this kind of stuff. I'm just taking a step further. I think you're seeing the normalization of sexual freedom in womanhood. We've seen this since the late 80s. You know, Sex and the City was a great contributor for that whole segmental shift in women's thinking. The idea of like that a guy would be comfortable with any number of a woman have slept with a dude is to me mental. You don't seem to understand what
the idea of the guy what?
Like that the woman would say like, oh, you know, I've had sex with 50 dudes and the love of my life is not going to care. That to me is...
Would you care?
110%.
So if she has a high body count, you would care?
110%.
Oh, you're not going to be like, that was the past and that's it?
Dude, all that fucking dick that she went through, all that drama she went through, she still has that somewhere in her.
But is that why, because you care, and is that what forces them to lie?
Is that what forces them to lie?
Because they don't have to be honest. They could just give you a fake number. Like they could say like, oh...
Sure, but
I'm sure you must have heard this story before.
Okay.
Not now, but in your younger years, all right? I think I'm not a virgin because I went horse riding.
Yeah.
You've heard that before, right? I think we've all heard that story. You know what I mean?
I'll say the same thing as I said back then. Yeah. But it was a stallion, no less, of course.
Listen, at 18, 16, you could kind of believe that story. You know what I mean? But that's not a story to say later. But my point is, the reason she even brought up that story is because you were judging her.
Good. There's nothing wrong with being judged. People need to be judged more, if anything. I mean, I don't think this whole society, this free, like, safe space and all this kind of stuff is a good thing. Like, I'm a fat guy, and I don't believe that fat people should fucking be on magazines and fashion vlogs and stuff like that. It should not be normalized. I can attest to that. I can believe that.
Do you know what? You bring up a good point. So you don't think fat people should be on magazines, and you're fat. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. But let me correct that. If they're famous because they're funny, if they're achievements, something, great. But they should not be rewarded because they are fat. That to me is insane.
What makes you then stay fat?
Because I don't give a shit.
But then you don't want to be like just rewarded for being yourself.
No, but I don't want people to...
So you don't want to glamorize it.
We're miscommunicating. We're miscommunicating here. I'm saying that fashion models, I'm saying movie stars who purpose of looking good on screen.
Yeah.
It should not be normalized that, oh, you know what? This fat bitch or this fat dude is like a hero because he's fat. That should not be the topic here. Right? You should be a hero for fucking like working.
For other characteristics. You're just saying not based on looks, is what you're saying.
If he's fat because he's a good businessman, if he's fat because he's...
That's fine.
That's fine. I don't give a shit. But you can't be famous for being fat. That's my problem here.
Do you know what? I have to say something, but I don't know how people will take this, right? And I've heard this from other people, and I had to agree with it because I was fat.
Okay.
Right? So when I talk, I was fat. Like,
so one former fat guy to a current fat guy. What are you telling me?
I mean, look, my weight's always been a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. So I go through like fat, thin, constantly in my life.
Sure.
I mean, it's been a battle forever.
Sure.
Right? But, I mean, obviously, whenever I'm losing the battle is because I realize because of myself.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I wouldn't say it's... I have these genes where it's like I can gain weight fast and I can lose weight fast.
Sure.
Which is a nightmare. And but there's one thing that really stuck with me. And it's like when like, for example, people like Bradley and others are like, I would not do business with a fat guy. I'd be like, why? Well, like if you can't even control that, his weight, then what discipline does he have in the rest of his life? And that really hit me. And I was like, you know what? That is kind of true, because if I'm not committed enough to go to the gym every day, to watch what I'm putting in my mouth, then how the hell am I going to run every other part of my life? And as soon as I put that in my own mind as a fat guy, I said, no more. I haven't taken a day off. Like, I'll do some kind of exercise every day. Right? Even if it's 20 minutes, doesn't matter. I'll just do something. And I'll be consciously thinking about what I'm eating, because my body is my temple, and my temple I can control. Okay. So I have full control of that. I can't blame anyone else for that. So yes, I thought that was a really interesting point, because in business, as you know, you have businesses yourself, discipline is everything.
Yeah. I wouldn't say.
I mean, listen. You could love other things so much that you're like, it doesn't matter.
No. It's not. I'm not going because I don't think discipline matters. I think what matters more than discipline is having the right people. And I learned that in myself, running businesses and working as consultancy and everything else, is that the more force you put in controlling because you think you know the best, the less you're going to grow, because a company is only as good as its people that work inside of it.
So true.
Right? And so the discipline shouldn't be the discipline of, hey, you know what? I need to make sure that I'm every day on the office at this point, or doing this or doing that.
I'm not talking about that.
That's good points. But sorry, let me just finish.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that what is really good discipline is being able to take a step back, which is a lot harder to do, and letting your team take charge and giving people the opportunity of being like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to micromanage you. I'm not going to go through every single like fucking publication, email you've done. I'm not going to sit there and listen to phone calls that you're doing on sales and stuff like that. I could be doing that, but I know that I need to trust you enough so you can grow and be who you are and all that kind of stuff. That's all.
Bro, you're a fucking legend.
Where's that coming from?
No, I'll tell you why. Because what you're saying just hit like a nail on the head, and it hit like a real soft spot in my life. And you know, I used to be a very controlling freak, but not in the way you think. So I would have teams, and when something's not getting done the way I want it to get done, I have this. I mean, it's this bad thing inside of me, is that I could teach myself stuff. So I might have no idea how to edit a video, how to design a logo, or how to make a website and program, or how to cook whatever in a restaurant. Like, this is not my area of expertise. But because when it's not done my way, and I'm like, I need to get it done, I'm like, instead of empowering them further, this is my previous self we're talking about. Instead of empowering them further, you need training, send them other places, upgrade them, upskill them, bring other people. I'm like, you know what? I get impatient, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. And then I'll go teach myself how to cook, how to program, how to whatever. And I end up doing it, which is all great because you get a short-term win. But in the long term, you end up in the trenches and you always lose. You need a team that you can that's it, just get it done.
I would take it a step further than you. Sorry to interrupt you. I would take it a step further than you, because if you're running a team that way, you end up in this terrible position where the team stops taking initiative and they just see you as the problem solver.
100%, bro. I gotta tell you this.
I've lived it.
You've lived it, and I've lived it. And do you know what happens? Instead of my team working for me, I end up working for them in order to make money to pay their salary instead of them making income to provide my business.
It happens so often when I was working with more localized teams, and when I would switch between companies like 6 months or 3 months and then move on. And I'd noticed the same pattern emerging where I would be sitting there and we'd have this project trying to get this done. And then by the end of whatever that term was, I realized, hey, you know what? I'm the one who's putting in 80% here. When questions are coming up from the team, I'm the one answering it. When things are not getting done and things are left half baked, I'm the one who's spending the weekend and finishing it. It became so bad. I remember.
So your life sucks at that point.
It clicked for me when one of the staff that we had on the team to do a specific job just didn't feel like taking the extra step of finishing it, because they needed to do some Google research, right? Like, God forbid. And then they just said, hey, Hamid, can you just figure this out for me?
And then you become that guy.
And then that's when it clicked on me. And I was like, listen, you're
that guy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
but you ain't getting paid extra to be that guy, but you are just that guy, that rock that they can just come back to and a backup, and bro, seriously.
Leadership is definitely not fixing people's.
Leadership is difficult.
Let me put it this way: leadership is not fulfilling every task of every employee. That's not what leadership is supposed to be.
It's not. And now, taking that into consideration, before I used to watch movies like Braveheart and whatever, and be like these old war movies, and I'd be like, look at those kings and leaders, what pussies.
Okay.
Sitting in the back, chilling in the castle while the soldiers are fighting and doing the war, you know what I mean? If you were a man, you'd go and do it yourself, right? But that comes back exactly to your point. Sometimes everyone just needs to do the role that they're best suited for, right? So if that, it's cool, I might be the bravest, I might be a samurai, you know what I mean? But if I'm going to go into war, and I might be a samurai, I'm not Superman at the end of the day, right? I'll kill a few, but then what, right? Then the leader dies in that process. But yes, it's being able to have your generals, have your soldiers, go to war, right? And it's not being weak,
okay,
to lead and to command and to have strategy, is my point.
I forgot who said this. The young die for their cause, the old live it. So
it's so true.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Can we cut for a second?
Go for it.
I need to smoke.
Take your time, boy.
All right, guys. So I want to say something here before we continue the show.
Sure.
I want to give a shout out to Dan the Man. And if he's not recording this bit, then that's his fault, because I was going to post this on all my channels. That you have an amazing, amazing team here.
Thank you.
And Dan the Man is the guy.
Dan is actually so good. People have tried poaching him in front of me. That's how good he is.
And does he not take the job?
No, I tell him, take it. Take it and run.
And why is he not taking it?
He is.
Dan the Man, you leaving?
No.
Why are you staying?
I stay where it pays.
You must be paying them well. Huh?
I think I don't pay them well enough, to be honest.
Do you know what? Thanks, Dan the Man. But this brings a funny, interesting topic. Not funny, but interesting. I had a problem in Bahrain.
Let's hear it.
So...
Problem in Bahrain? That's new. Go on. I've never heard of this.
Totally new. No, but let me tell you something that actually affected me business-wise. Or potentially affected me business-wise. But I'm ready to battle, right? So what happened was, I used to have an agency called H2M. That was the first company I set up in Bahrain. And H2M ran that for 8 years, 9 years.
Okay.
Funny thing about H2M, it was a marketing agency, which became a design agency, which then became a digital-only agency. It started with 1,000 dinars. And before I actually get to the point of this, do you know why it's called H2M? I mean, it sounds like a fancy term that you would use for an agency like JWT or whatever. You know, everyone uses acronyms.
Hassan to
Well,
something?
my name's Hussain.
Hussain,
so
sorry.
It'd be nice
Hussain?
to know my name at this point.
Sorry. Hussain to something?
Yeah, sure. So in Australia,
What does it stand for? Tony? I don't understand.
listen, what's my name? What's my name, by the way?
Hussain, no?
Ahmed. What's my surname?
Hussain Hassan.
Has. Clip this, bro. Clip this. I'm telling you.
We're going to keep it in. We're going to use it as a story.
I know you should clip it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even know my name.
So how do I pronounce your last name?
I thought you like research your guests a little bit.
Yeah, but my pronunciations are shit.
Can you put my channel on so at least my name is there?
Yeah,
There you
Hassan
go. That's
Hussaini.
my name. Hussain Hussaini.
Yeah, Hussain Hussaini. Okay. So H2H was the show.
Anyway, I'll do this again
right.
because for the clip it wouldn't make sense.
Okay.
All right. So
H2M was it called? No?
H2M was the name of my agency.
Okay.
My name's Hussain.
Okay.
Hussain Hussaini.
Okay.
In Australia, people found that weird.
Okay.
So they would call me H2 because they're like, you're Hussain squared.
Okay.
So I'm Hussain squared, right? Hussain. Yes. Make all those fun.
Okay.
So anyway, my agency was called H2M. I met an Australian guy in Bahrain.
And why the
And
one?
his name was Matthew.
Okay.
So when we put the names together, it was H2, Hussain, Matthew. H2M.
Oh, so convoluted. Okay, got it.
But that's where the name came from, right?
Got it.
So me and Matthew, we were building a business before marketing stuff and before any of the Talabats or Jahez or whatever. What is your favorite food delivery app?
I don't know. Talabat, I guess.
Talabat, fine. Before Talabats, right? So we set out on a mission to make the first food delivery website in the Middle East.
Okay.
We were ahead of our time. And so we're programming this and making this, blah, blah, blah. We're about to go live in like 6 months. And then Matthew quit.
What did Matthew do?
So Matthew was a banker and
In Bahrain.
in Bahrain.
Okay.
And he got a new job.
In
And this-
Bahrain?
In Bahrain. He worked for Unicorn Investment Bank.
Okay.
So I'm kind of outing people here right now.
Okay.
But who cares, because I don't know Unicorn and he used to work for them.
I don't
not
even
me.
fucking know unicorn.
Anyway, there's an investment company called Unicorn. They hired him. They paid him 5,000 dinars a month. We're talking 12 years ago. So 5,000 probably was like equivalent to 15 grand or whatever today, right? And his job was simply, because he has a legal background, so they hired him technically as a lawyer. But then he found out what the truth was of why they hired him. And the reason they hired him was because they hired him to fire people.
Oh, that's nice.
But you're a lawyer, right? Find a reason to get rid of these people without them coming back to us later.
Oh, you mean like no pay, no benefits termination, basically?
No, he's getting paid 5 grand.
No, he was firing people to.
Oh, yeah, to get rid of them without benefits.
Benefits,
Yes,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure, yeah. So that's what they hired him for. He didn't know that. He thought they literally hired him for legal purposes. And 3 months in, they're like, oh my God, he's like Hussain, they just want me to fire people and find excuses and reasons to fire them.
Fucking love it. You should hire me. I'm good at that fucking shit. That was my favorite thing to do.
Bro, Matthew, G up Matthew, by the way, if you're watching. He was an atheist. You know, Matthew was an atheist.
Okay.
And religion's got nothing to do with this.
That's what I was about to say.
But there's a reason why I bring it up, is because when me and Matthew set up the business together, he gave me one condition. He gave the condition, not me. He was the money man. I was the brains of the effort. I didn't put money in. He did. And he said, Hussain, listen, if this business ever makes money, I have a clause in the contract and a condition. 20% of all the profits goes to any charity of your choice. I don't care if it's an Islamic charity or animals' rights or AIDS or whatever it is. I don't care. but 20% goes to charity. Now, this is an atheist man saying this.
You can be
You know what? It
humanitarian.
blew my mind because I'm like, 20%, that's like, in Shiism, we call that khums. And he's not even religious. And he's like, yo, let's give 20%. I'm like, cool. Anyway, so Matthew got this job, got the 5Gs. He realized that they're hiring him to fire people. So he said, he quit. He's like, I refuse to fire people for no reason.
Well,
So
there
he
is a
quit.
reason.
No.
They're cutting billables.
I mean, that's the company's reason, but not a reason towards the staff. And you know what? Atheist or not, he was more humanitarian as an individual that I met than any religious person I've ever met.
Sure.
And he's like, you know what, Hussain, I quit. I'm going to quit this job. I'm going to go back to Australia. I'm done. And so he left. And I was like, Matthew, listen, bro, like I quit my job in order to do this thing. Can you leave 1G in the company? That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Because I've got like office rent to pay. I've got bills to pay, which is more than $1,000, but
Sure.
just leave $1,000. Give me like a lifeline of $1,000. And you know what? Man that he is, he did. He left me with 1,000 dinars. So I had 1,000 dinars, no contacts, no idea where this business is going because this whole Jail-Bought concept just died as soon as you walked out the door. Because we need to get paid, right? Can't wait for, there was no such thing as startups and tech. Like
VC money.
These words didn't even exist in those days.
In the Middle East,
I'm a dinosaur, you know, I'm talking about the old days. So I was like, so this was G, now I need to just survive on this G. And that's what I did. I started calling people. I started it's so old. I started BBMing people, like BlackBerry Messenger. I can make a website for you, bro. And anyway, his grand, God bless his soul, led me to build a company in 12 months. Just me by myself in the office, pretending to be everyone. Because, you know, it's like, how big is your
Team.
team? Yeah, team is a word. But, you know, like in Bahrain, they'll ask you, how big's your team? I'm like, yeah, I have a big team, but you're just bullshitting at the end of the day. Fake it till you make it. So I had 5 email addresses, you know, like it's like accounts at H2M, marketing at H2M, PR H2M, sales at H2M. And I'll write different emails from different email addresses. And whenever a client says, can I come to your office? I'd be like, no, you can't. I'm out of the office at the moment, but I can come to your office. Obviously, just to not get them come to our office, which had no action happening. But yeah, we grew it into a 25-man team in 12 months.
And
From nothing.
with the 25 people that you currently have on staff, how many of them
No,
are
I don't
expats?
currently have them. That was back then.
Okay. And how much currently with Hustle Kitchen, how many people you got now at headcount?
Oh, so now we're talking about Hustle Kitchen. All right, so that was...
You went from that to Hustle
so that,
Kitchen,
no, so that was H2M.
Yeah.
So grew that to 25 men, became the #1 digital agency in the country.
Okay.
The main driving factor that I had was because when I was making websites, and I had a job, I wasn't full-time H2M at that point, I would charge very cheap prices because I didn't even know what the price was.
Sure.
Because it wasn't my business. Like, I had a job. And then I realized that digital agencies charge like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a website.
And you were doing it for what?
I was a freelancer. Basically, I didn't have a company. I was a freelancer. So I was doing like 300, 400, 500. And I was like, that's a 10x discrepancy. And so I go to a friend, you know who you are. And I'm like, why are these companies charging $5,000 when I'm charging 500?
Wasta.
They're like, because they are X name, and I don't want to mention names.
Sure.
So they are that company. He's like, who the fuck are you? I said, who the fuck am I? I'm Hussain fucking Husaini. That's who the fuck I am. But that was my driving factor, by the way. Because the thing is, I love when people put me down. You know, like some people, they're sensitive. So you tell them they're fat, they're going to go home and cry about it and go tell their mom, oh, mommy, I'm fat. And he told me I'm fat. I loved it when people told me I'm fat. When someone tells me I'm fat, I'm like, yeah, I am.
I love it. You loved it so much that you lost all this weight.
Yeah, I am fucking fat. You wait. I'm fat. Just give me 3 months. I'm going to sort it out. I love it when people put me down but I think I realize not everyone's the same, right? So for me, if you put me down, that is my biggest motivation. But there are other people, when you put them down, they just break. You know, you always assume everyone is like you. Okay. In a weird way. You know, when you're growing up and you still don't have world experience.
Okay.
You think everyone thinks the same way you think. So you think, like, for example, if that is my motivation, I'm sure that is the motivation for everyone else. And that turns out to not be true, right? So like I said, people tell me I'm fat, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to use it as motivation. Tell someone else is fat, he's going to break and he's going to be sad and then he's going to need drugs and then he's going to need a therapist and whatever else it is that these people do. The weak, you know what I mean? Weak. No, but I mean, listen, I think at this age, I don't call them weak. It's just they're different. And I've learned to talk to people based on the type of personality they are. Because I always called myself a chameleon. I blend wherever you put me. Chuck me in the States, chuck me in Australia, chuck me in the UK. I mean, maybe it's because I went to 14 schools before I finished high school. So I was exposed to so many different backgrounds, so many different cultures. Like just before finishing high school.
A chameleon.
I'm a chameleon. I was always a new guy. Like, so every time I go to a new school, I meet friends and then my parents are like, oh, we're going to that town tomorrow. Like, damn, new friends again. So I always join school as the new guy. And you know, being in school as a new guy, everyone picks on you. You know how it is. But you learn to master the skill.
You're the cool kid for the first like 3 to 4 weeks.
No, do you know what? Here's a funny thing I'll tell you. Do you think I'm a outgoing person or a shy person?
I bet you're an introvert.
I am an introvert.
See?
Do I come across an introvert?
No, but I can do a cold reading on you if you like.
A cold reading?
Yeah, you're one of those people.
Do you know what? I am a total introvert. I hate people. I hate talking to random people. I love my friends. I hate talking to random people because I'm actually a shy guy, right?
It says with the sunglasses.
By nature. No, but by nature. That is my nature. But I am not a shy guy in reality today. But I had to practice that. Why? Because when I was in school, and like I said, I went to 14 schools before I finished high school. So I'm always a new kid. So of course you're the shy guy. Because you're not just taking me from school to school. You're taking me from culture to culture. Like I have to adapt to mindsets as well as languages, as well as location, as well as many other things. So I always had to adapt. And that's what made me a chameleon. But anyway, when I was finishing high school.
Sure.
Here's a story that no one knows. So this was the changing moment of my life.
Cheers, by the way. So tell me about this changing moment in your life.
That's an extra minute for the editor.
Oh.
You got to cut this.
Don't worry about that. Dan will be. Dan the man. Dan is going to be working hard today.
Let me tell you this changing moment in my life. When we go to high school, we all have a first crush. That first chick, woman, girl, for you feminists out there.
Dudes, for you gay guys out there. You know that Tim Dillon had this like amazing point?
Oh my God. This podcast is going to ruin me.
So, Tim Dillon once said, only gay guys can experience, true pedophilia. And I was like, what? And
do you know what? You're really fucking up this podcast. I'll tell you why. Because I intentionally speak with clips in mind.
Yeah.
And when you disrupt the clip,
yeah,
I'm going to start all over again or just not use it at all.
Let me tell you about Tim Dillon's pedophile idea, right? He would come on the show and he talked about, listen, only a gay guy gets to legally experience young boys. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, at some point, you're 16. You can fuck that 15-year-old, that 14-year-old. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That should be clipped.
Well, you know.
All right, but no.
That's star power.
Okay, let me tell you the story.
Let's hear it. So you're in high school.
So I am now 14, 15 years old, high school. I have my first crush. If you're watching, I don't know if you know who you are. I hope you do, or I hope you don't, since you're married. But anyway,
Tell me about this dude.
I thought I loved this woman. So I started writing poems about this woman.
How old were you?
Like a geek.
How old are
on
you?
my computer.
How old are you?
14, 15.
14, 15, you're writing fucking
I
poetry?
thought I'm in love, and I told my dad, I was like, listen, I love this woman. And he's like, what do you think this is, an Indian movie?
Fucking wake
He's
up.
like, do you want me to go outside in the rain and start dancing for you? And I'm like a movie? And I'm like, no, dude.
Thanks, Dad.
Anyway, Dad, no worries. So anyway, nothing ever happened, right? Because I did not have the guts to actually approach her and tell her how I feel. She's a classmate, if you know who you are. So, classmate, never told her how I feel. I mean, we knew each other, but never told her how I feel. Anyway, I then left Kuwait. This was in Kuwait. And I left Kuwait. I went to London. And I forgot all about it. This was a changing moment in my life. Do you know why? Because it's like, you love this person. You think you love this person. This is childhood puppy love anyway. And you don't have the guts to go to her and tell her how you feel. You're not a man. You're a...
Pussy.
Give me a better word. Give me a better word.
Come on.
I was going to say pussy, yeah, but give me a better word. You're a chicken. All right, you're not a man. All right, anyway. So I went back to London, and I'm like, cool. I love this girl. What you think is love. Have you ever had a first love or first crush?
I was 14.
Crush.
I was 14. My first...
The teacher?
No. I wasn't that lucky. My first girlfriend, I think, was 16 or 17 or maybe even 18. And
How old were you?
I was like 14, 13. My first
But
girlfriend...
you actually had a girlfriend.
Yeah, we fucked.
I didn't have girlfriends.
We fucked. And
fucked?
yeah, that's how I started smoking, was because I knew that she was into smoking. And I was like, there's nothing I have in common with her. But if I started smoking, then at least I'd have that in common with her.
Listen, I'm going to make this public. I was a virgin for a long time in my life.
Okay.
So when I was 14, 15, loving this woman, I was a virgin, I was a geek, I was a dork. Actually, that's not true.
Just hit the gym.
It's not true. By the way, it's not even true because I was a cool guy with the dudes.
So cool.
No, with the dudes. You know, you can be cool with the dudes, but not cool with the ladies. Mm-hmm. It's a different thing because, like,
I don't know if that's true, but okay, let's agree with it for the sake of this argument.
Like, you know what I mean is like,
oh, Dave is so cool. He doesn't fuck any girls. That's not cool.
Dude, I'm talking about when you're like 14 years old in high school. No, let's
even at 14.
Let's be honest about that. You should not be fucking when you're 14.
When you're 14.
Listen, kids, if you're watching, I did not advise you to be fucking when you're 14.
I drank, I did drugs when I was 14. Just go wild.
But that is a bad example to set.
Fuck them.
Listen, just because you did doesn't make it right.
Dude, childhood is only a thing since the last 100 years. Prior to that, you were like fucking at 8 years old as a chimney sweeper.
I have to disagree.
You've got two kids.
We can agree to disagree. I have 2 kids.
Sure.
Do I want them to be fucking? No. Of course not.
Well, you know, they're
Do
boys.
I want them to be weak and on the feminist side? Of course not. Actually, this brings up an important point because when Andrew Tate got cancelled,
okay,
and people were posting that Andrew Tate's cancelled, cool, and then I had no problem with this, you know what I mean? Because I don't know the guy. Like, what is the difference to make to my life? But then when I see the comments on Andrew Tate being cancelled, I see it's all women, mostly women anyway, who are responding, yeah, good on him. Good he got cancelled. And then I decided to comment, right? And we're talking about local BH's account, which is a Bahraini account. And I'm like, yo, I believe in freedom of speech. Why'd you cancel the guy? You know, like, you don't like what he says, don't listen. Don't follow. I mean, I think that's a very simple thing for people to do. Just don't follow, don't listen, don't watch. But to cancel, to block, to ban, and what really irritated me.
Did you see the
Are you gonna bring up the post? Yeah, bring up the post.
did you see the fucking like now teachers are coming out and like saying like ooh all
There
these
you go.
like,
There's my comments at the top. You see?
Yeah, 10 likes.
What does it say? I think Meta has made a big mistake removing freedom of speech. You don't agree with will surely be the downfall of social media in the long run. If you don't agree with somebody, don't follow them. But banning feels like giving the platforms too much power to silence opinions that they don't like. And I stick with that. And then you get all these women commenting. All right, so it's not me. You can see it on the screen. What is the woman saying?
banning him prevents little boys following in his footsteps. Everyone's quick to come after rainbow flags. It accepts a man who rapes, beats up women, as well as being a literal
Rapes, beats up women. Bullshit. All right, well, how do I respond?
Can we open that profile?
No, by the way, read the response.
Sorry, for our audio listeners. Well, it's very easy to create misinformation, but if you actually look into his human trafficking, etc., you'd be surprised that the allegations was false. But that wasn't the issue. Censorship in general means that people have to condone ideas what is acceptable based on the value of tech companies, therefore shaping the future generations of society. It's a very slippery slope.
This response is the best.
Yeah.
Listen, read her response now.
You would want future generations to become more like him? What? Regardless of he has a harm of society, little boys. Would you want your son, nephew, or brother becoming more like him? Don't forget.
Stop.
Sure.
I want to answer that point because she said, would you want your son or nephew or whatever to be like him? I want to say this now. I can say this officially. Cancel me if you want. Do I want my boys to take someone like Andrew Tate as a hero or as an influence? Or what was that guy you said?
XQC.
XQC. I don't think anyone watching this knows who XQC is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's that French, that blondie, right? That wears dresses.
No, he's very effeminate
Streamer.
man.
You're talking about the streamer,
he's
right?
A streamer.
By the way, he wears dresses and stuff. He's been exposed many times.
Oh.
Now, do I want my sons to get
XQC,
influenced?
not X2C.
XQC? Put XQC. Yeah.
XQC. Sorry, audio listeners.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdo.
All right.
Fucking weirdo.
I hope you get this on camera. Do I want my son to be influenced by that guy
Fucking
in
weirdo.
a fucking pink dress?
The bra and everything. Fuck.
Or this guy who just tells my kids, be a man, do some push-ups, make some money, be strong. Do you know what? What is her name? Sarah.
Can we open her profile? Let's see what.
Sarah.
Let's see who she is.
7M. Obviously private.
Obviously private. 7 posts. Interesting.
Basin 973, whatever that means.
Do you really believe that comments are real people and not just bots?
No, they are real people for sure.
Do you not think they're just bots?
For sure, she's real. Look. She can't even show her face. Actually, can we go back? Can you go back for a second?
I mean, she's got 7
Can you go
posts.
back to Basin 973? No. Can you go? Sorry. Can you go forward? Look at that last picture. She puts her phone in front of her face, right? So she doesn't want even me show her face. So we got these comments that we deal with. Well, people don't even show their face. I mean, if you got something to say, if you have something to say, at least show who you are, right?
Don't even listen.
I think that proves my point.
I get you.
I am here. I'm living. I'm flesh and blood. I'm standing in front of you. Come talk to me. I don't hide. I don't put cameras in front of my face.
No, I get where you're coming from. What I'm trying to say is that I believe in the conspiracy theory that like 80% of comments online are just bots.
No.
I don't believe that these people are real people.
I don't think that. Look. I gotta be fair here as well. I know where she's coming from. She's coming from the typical female perspective of
Western female perspective.
No, not even Western. See, Andrew Tate is a very controversial figure
For the West.
for women.
For the Western women.
even Eastern.
No.
I'll tell you, let's not call them Eastern or Western. Let's call them modernized women versus not so modernized. And I'll tell you why, because they hate him because he's like, men should be like this, women should be like that. Obviously, a modern woman will not agree with that. That was not even my point. And I said the point was about freedom of speech and everyone should say what they want. And then you see I got blasted by, would you want your sons to be influenced by him? No. I don't want my sons to be influenced by him.
I would want my children
No,
to be
I want
influenced
my
by him.
sons to be influenced by XQC wearing a dress. That is who I want my sons to be influenced by.
What do you think about...
Come on, guys. What the hell?
What do you think about hospitals now offering sex changes to 8-year-old children?
Don't even get me started.
Isn't that wild?
Listen.
Can you imagine if your 8-year-old son would come up to
Do you know what? Like, are you a male or a female?
I think very clearly you can see that I'm a guy. I don't think there's a question of a doubt.
I am not a male or a female anymore.
Uh-huh.
I am now just the Don.
Okay.
So you address me as the Don now. That is my binary feeling.
Cool.
Why not?
Can I go around calling...
Can I just be the Don?
Can I go around calling myself son of a street nigger? Is that would be okay?
That's up to you. Apparently, you can choose who you want to be. So I want to be the Don. That is who I am. So for the rest of this podcast, I am going to be known as the Don.
I will refer to you as you've requested as the Don.
Please, yes.
Please. I will make sure of that, Don.
Thank you.
But don't.
But coming back to this, like, look, what did she say? Well, I'm all for expressing. Please read it.
Yeah, I'm all for expressing your opinions, but at this point, it isn't just an opinion. It's hate speech. There's no such thing as defined hate speech. That doesn't exist. The influences of young boys, he knows the power he holds over his views. He's not stupid, and he needs to be stopped one way or another. Who is this person who needs to be stopped? Who is she to tell who needs to be stopped and what? Who is she to make any kind of rules or regulations? Who is she to tell you how to raise your fucking kids? And it's up to you on the way you want to raise your fucking child, right? If a parent is happy to give their 8-year-old or 9-year-old child a sex change because they don't feel like whatever gender, then you should be able to raise them as a fucking Chad as much as you fucking like. I mean, this is nonsense to me.
Listen, I gave a response. I don't know if that was good. That's some doctor that came across on this fucking channel. But then I gave a response to the doctor. I was talking about freedom of speech and misinformation. For example, he never said he moved to Romania to abuse women. Unless I'm mistaken, in which case you're right.
But how is he? So he says in this comment, sorry to interrupt you, and for the audio listeners, sorry for you out there.
Yeah.
But he says, this doctor dude, whoever he is, says he's a menace.
It's a chick, by the way.
He's
a doctor chick.
What? Not a surprise. He's a menace at the very least, and most probably a criminal. And I don't want to imagine him at his worst. Well, go fuck yourself, Dr. Menu/Zuzu, whatever. I mean, get out of there.
People are being weak for no reason.
It's not people.
Okay.
It's women.
Okay, I have to say something about Andrew Tate, and this will be my official response to the Andrew Tate topic. So I know you edit and you cut your videos a lot, but here's my official response. A lot of people would say that they agree with Andrew Tate 70%, 60%, 50%, but they don't agree with the other stuff in order to keep themselves safe from being cancelled, etc. Right? I told you I was a fat guy recently.
Okay.
I was a fat guy maybe 3-4 months ago even.
Okay.
I was a depressed guy. By the way, not just a fat guy. Fat is okay.
Okay.
But I was fat and depressed. Why was I depressed? Because of different things happening in my life. But is it a mental thing? Is being depressed, is that a mental thing? Do I need a pill for this? Do I need to go to a psychotherapist or a therapist in order to fix me? Okay. No, you don't. Most people get depressed because they're having a shitty time at the moment, but not creating actions in order to fix them in the moment, in order to get out of this and have a better life, right?
Okay.
So, whilst I'm not going to say this because of Andrew Tate, But watching the videos that keep coming up on the stream, right, on the feed, and he's like, "Stop being a pussy. Do some fucking push-ups, bro. You think you're sick? Do some push-ups." He brought up a good question. Are you depressed because you're fat, or are you fat because you're depressed?
Okay.
What do you think? That is a really good question.
I think you're depressed because you're fat. That's my personal opinion.
No, but see, a lot of people think you're fat because you're depressed.
Yeah, I think.
So when you say, "Why are you fat?" They're like, "Because I'm depressed." Okay, so if you lost the weight, you'd be depressed? No.
That's what I'm saying.
But that was the whole point. Are you depressed because you're fat, or you're fat because you're depressed? Most people are depressed because they're fat.
I guess that's.
But the point is,
Yeah.
you fix that, you're not depressed, right?
I guess.
I mean,
maybe.
we can figure it out.
No, I mean, you're making an absurd assumption is that all fat people are depressed. I can tell you, I'm very happy being fat.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying is like, if you ask a lot of fat guys, "Why are you fat?" They're like, "Because I'm depressed." Right?
Sure.
So you're getting fat because you're depressed.
No, I understand where you're coming from.
But the truth is, it's the reverse. You're depressed because you're fat.
But there's also a lot.
But if you think about it like that, and it's like, okay, so I can go lose weight. I can, if I lose weight, I'll not be depressed anymore. Yeah, you're not going to be depressed anymore.
But I know a lot of people who've lost weight because they thought it's going to reduce their depression, by the way, and they become thin, six-pack, whatever, and then they realize, hey, you know what? I'm still not happy.
Unhappy. But that, by the way, I mean, I think it's unfair to say a lot of people.
From my friend circle.
You might have a selection of people. When you say a lot of people, what's compared to the world, it's a selection of people.
From my observational research.
Why do you think they're depressed?
I think they're depressed because they're working jobs and they're in a life that they don't want to be in.
That is a very...
I think that's the honest to God reason.
Again, that is an amazing segue. It's an amazing segue. Cut. All right? I'll tell you why it's an amazing segue. So you think they're depressed because they're doing jobs they hate?
No, I think they're living lives that they don't want to live.
And doing jobs they hate?
Sure.
You asked me a question. You asked me, Hussain, what is this 3-step plan? Mm-hmm. What is Hustle Kitchen? Mm-hmm. What is my marketing consultancy? Mm-hmm. It baffles you. Like, what the hell are you doing right now, basically?
It baffles me why you're here doing this. Absolutely.
Yeah. Or why I'm here, or what am I doing?
Why are you doing this precisely here?
Why am I on this podcast?
No, Bahrain, and you
why
know
am
that.
I here in Bahrain? Yes. Actually, a very good question. Truth is, I'm 39 years old. I'll be 40 in January. Mm-hmm. So, women out there, if you don't mind a 40-year-old guy, hit me up.
There's a lot of girls
otherwise,
who like 40-year-old guys.
I'm a 40-year-old guy, right? So I'm an old guy now. I don't live my life in terms of women, fun, etc. That is not the way I look at life anymore. I'll tell you how I look at life. It's very binary. I'm going to be 40 years old. I think I'm in my prime. My prime lasts for 10 more years, from 40 to 50, max. Then I'm an old goat. You know what I mean? And I hope it's the goat, but even if it isn't,
sure.
I'm an old goat. So the thing is, you asked me the question, why? 3-step plan, Hustle Kitchen. The funny thing that you might not understand and that most people don't know, I have started firing my clients instead of hiring them.
Yes.
You know, like that is a weird concept for people. I'm getting rid of clients. People trying to get clients, I'm trying to get rid of clients.
Low value.
No, it's not about no value. I'm trying to get to 0 clients. I'm trying to fire all of them.
Okay.
Why? Nothing to do with my clients. I love you guys as clients. Nothing to do with you. It's a me thing. I'm 39 years old, turning 40. Listen, there's a point in your life that you got to reflect and look back and be like, how do I want to live my life? What makes me happy? I realize at this age that happiness is not monetary. We've had money. We've had no money. We've gone through it all. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But happiness is not money. If I had $1 billion tomorrow, it's not going to make me happier than I am right now.
Sure.
Or if I had nothing tomorrow, it's not going to make me worse off than I am right now. Because the thing is, I mean, don't look at me like that. What I mean is, yeah, of course. I mean, I know where your face is coming from. You're this extremist beggar on the street, fucking nothing to fucking eat. Not even food to fucking drink. Not even water to have a glass. By the way,
it's all easy.
I know that is what you're thinking.
It's all easy to say till your stomach starts rumbling, right? All your problems very quickly disappear when your house is on fire. The moment when your stomach
there's a very easy way to
kill yourself.
To understand what no. Guys, I said mental health is real, but most people are full of shit. Now, according to Google Facts, misdiagnosis rates reach 65% for major depressive or. By the way, when they say that, does that mean they're 65% true or not?
It says misdiagnosis reaches at 65. My assumption on that, Dan, if you can open the link, we can maybe skim through it. My assumption is that it's that people are misdiagnosed as being depressed rather than
65%.
Yeah, rather than
which is a huge number.
Methodology results of the 840 participant, blah, 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 7, blah, 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 participants in criteria, depression, disorder, bipolar, pandemic, realization of anxiety, social anxiety, 92.
All right, can I just summarize this? Most people are misdiagnosed as being weak. You're just having a bad day. Stop having a bad day. Get up, go to the gym, figure out your goals, and sort it out. That is my point. I said mental health is real, but it is a minor percentage of the real factor. The most men now, with this woke culture that we live in, think that if they say they're depressed or mentally unwell or whatever, people are going to give them sympathy, and that is a way for them to take a break and have an excuse to not work out, to not go out, to not work, to not do anything real, instead of, listen, bro, you're just fucking lazy. You're not mentally depressed. You're just fucking lazy.
You know what I think it is? I think it's
Why?
I think it's multifactional. I think one is that your mobile phone doesn't help you. I think you should get off your fucking phone. Number two is I think you need to spend time outdoors. What is it? Like life expectancy wise, you're going to spend somewhere between like 92% of your life indoors. Think about your own lives. I mean, we go from car to apartment to office.
Bro, here's the thing.
Even the gym is indoors.
Listen, it's not about that.
It is definitely.
See, I go to gym. It's
indoors.
It's indoors. Doesn't make me depressed.
I think
it makes
it does.
me active. I think when your blood flows, you get more active. The thing is, here's the point of this whole mental depression stuff. There are people who have real mental issues. There are.
No doubt.
100%.
No doubt.
And I'm not putting them down at all, because it is a thing. I thought I had a mental depression. But I also know that was an excuse I was trying to make to justify my actions. I knew that. Thing is, 90% of us, we don't have a mental disorder. What we have is an excuse for being fucking lazy. Meaning, I don't care. Your girlfriend broke up with you. So what? Your son doesn't want to speak to you. Boo fucking who? Get up, go to the gym, do some work, and then do that consistently for at least 2-3 weeks, and then tell me you have a mental depression. Because a real depression means regardless of the outcome, regardless of the output or the outcome, you are still going to be depressed. And that is a different thing that, by the way, I don't believe you've ever met someone who's mentally depressed. And I think if you had, you
Me personally?
would know. Have you?
I had a guy try to commit suicide in front of me, if that's real.
And if you compare him to everyone else you met, are they mentally depressed?
It's hard to say.
Like, let's say the guy committing suicide, true cause,
It's hard to say.
and compare him to normal people you meet every day who's like, oh, I'm depressed.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because like with him, you know, sometimes he'd slip up and he'd say something, but generally he just looks like any other guy, and he's just happy and he's just
That's it.
enjoy.
That's
And
it.
then he just tells you like, listen, I'm just making this all an act because I want to make people feel uncomfortable how I don't give a shit. So I'm like, I don't know what
Listen,
to tell
some
you.
people are attention seekers.
There's also that.
Have you ever contemplated suicide?
Of course.
Why?
For me personally,
Yeah.
I was tired of the Matrix.
So you want to kill yourself instead?
No, because what made me wake up was a guy called Henry David Thoreau, who once said, and I'm really destroying this quote, "I went to the woods to see what it had to teach, and not to go when I'm dying to learn I have yet not lived." I've really destroyed that quote, by the way.
But I don't take you as a mentally depressed case.
It's not that I was depressed. It was that
But we're talking about suicide.
yes, but for me it wasn't that depression. For me it was living in the Matrix.
Do you know what's really sad? And I'll say something really sad right now.
And not to go when I came to die to discover I have yet not lived. Yep. You really butchered the quote.
Do you know
Henry
what?
David Thoreau, on point.
There you go. And do you know what? I'll tell you something really sad. Is that when you ask the question, have you considered committing suicide?
Most people
And
have.
I would say 99% of people would say yes.
Of course.
But why did they say yes? That is the question I want to come to.
I think
And
part of it is calling. Can you type into Google "calling of the void"?
Yeah?
I forgot what the French word of it is.
Can I tell you why?
It's called in French l'épile de vide. Describes the impulse of hurting yourself into the wall or to the void. It's like that feeling you get when you're on top of a tall building and wanting to jump down.
Your guy here.
Yeah.
Is that okay if we bring him on the show for a second?
Sure, Dan. You want to come on
Do
for a
something
second?
different for a second? Try something new here.
Go on if you like.
I don't think I'm like Andrew Tate at all.
But we do.
Well, that's fair enough. I mean, we all have their own points. And actually, I had to deal with this conversation because, you know what? I do like Andrew Tate, I'll be honest. Nothing wrong with what he says. Do I look like the top G? No, that's not who I am. But do I agree with what he says? For sure.
So do you want to be a top G?
No, I want to be me. And this is a point that I wanted to bring up, that to answer your previous question as to like, you know, you're like, why? Why would you want to vlog? Why would you want to do this? Why would you want to do that? I can answer this to you very simply in one sentence. I want to live happily for the rest of my life. So it's not about money for me anymore. I chased money for a long time in my life, right? And I did that in my 20s. How old are you, by the way?
By the way, we
24?
have Dan suddenly joining.
Dan the man. By the way, guys, okay, we gotta give come
audio is
on.
not gonna
We
be on the
gotta get a heads up for Dan the man. Dan the man.
Dan the man's audio isn't going to be connected to the switcher, so it'll have to be post into it.
Can you connect his audio? Please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you connect? Can you connect his audio?
Yeah, we'll do it in post. Yeah.
You sure? Like, you can't just get a mic or something?
His mic is connected, but it's not connected to the switcher.
To the switcher. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll
Okay,
have to be.
that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, post.
All right.
So back to
So
it.
unlike Dan the man and Dan the man. By the way, there's the number one thing that I always wondered was, how does Hamoudi here do a 3-hour, 6-hour podcast? Dan the man is a secret weapon. So ladies and gentlemen, Dan the man.
Don't you feel like you're like one of those like horses that get pulled out to the crowd?
Dan,
Like, look at here, our show prize.
Dan, can I ask you a first question?
Yes, please.
Why do you never smile?
Why do I what?
Why do you never smile?
Why do I never smile? I get asked that a lot actually. Like,
Is that you as a person, or?
I mean, I don't see a reason to smile. I mean, if there's a reason to smile, I'll smile.
So
He smiles with his eyes a lot. If you look into his eyes.
Yeah.
Dan, you confuse me because people who are just generally happy in their lives, they tend to smile. I tried bringing up the hardest topics or the funniest topics, and Dan just does not smile. He's like the Terminator.
That's because like this is another day for us. You always have everybody saying that okay, I bring up the best shit, I bring up the hardest topic, and we've had many guests. We've heard this word many times. So
Dan, can
That
I?
feels like a backhanded insult right there.
it's a compliment.
Oh, we got a smile. We got a smile. All right.
That's the way to he has his trigger of his humor is cruelty. That's what makes him smile. he just like
My position, I'm meant to be the third.
Dan, can I ask you about your life?
Yes, please.
How long have you been in Bahrain for?
I moved here when I was 12, so 12 years now.
How was the last 10 years?
The last 10 years, that's a little too general and a little too vague.
I just mean like from since you moved.
Well, my teen and my school years were really good. My post high school and working years, not so well.
Why not?
Why not is I don't feel content professionally. I don't feel like there is enough scope for me to explore the things that I want to do. And when there is enough scope, and in the past when I have explored, it's not paid me enough. So I can't really find a balance between the two.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
What is it that you want to do?
I'd like to pursue a career in music and film.
Music and film. And do you work in that capacity at the moment?
Yeah, in music for sure. Film, I do production work.
So why are you not happy?
Because production work is as creative as and fun as this podcast gets. It's still very corporate, right? It's still a very repetitive process.
You want to be you.
Yes, I do.
So if Dan the man could wave a magic wand and do whatever he wants to do, what would the show look like?
Exactly like this.
Oh, so that's good then. I mean, that's good.
this is not like a top down like theology, right? I'm not like in Dan's brain and being like, Dan, it's gotta look like this and that.
It's not about that. Okay, so you're happy doing this.
Yeah.
It's the other stuff that makes you unhappy.
Yeah.
What is that?
I mean, I'm
Let's be honest.
I'm happy doing this, right? Like this, I'm telling you, this season in my life is the best that's been professionally for me. And
Thank you.
Really.
Appreciate it.
I mean, honestly, like when I the first day I met him, I think at the second meeting I had with him, he paid me cash in hand for the first month upfront.
Amazing.
Never happened to me. All right, like
Saudi style.
And do you know what I said in that? Do you remember what I said?
What is it?
I said, you know what? I believe in you, and if you trick me and you just fuck off with the 500 and you don't show up, then that's lost on me. That is what it is. But I don't want you to feel like you're not going to get your fair dues or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I get it. The untold truth.
He did count the money in front of me. I will never forget that either.
Hey man, I get it, bro. I get it. You can't trust people anymore. You know what I mean? But I get it. So this part is your happy part. I want to know about the other parts.
The other part, the parts that are not so good,
Yeah.
is the fact that that this every process that there is, creatively, professionally, is very repetitive for me, right?
In what sense?
In what sense? As in, is every time we film a podcast, I'm repeating the same cycle, which is why I'm not excited about anything that happens in the podcast.
Yeah, I could tell you don't smile at
Yeah,
all.
because it's,
I thought I'm fucking entertaining, Dan. You disappoint me, man.
You were one of our top 4 episodes at this point.
Ooh.
Oh, top 4. At least I'm in top 4.
Absolutely.
Not the top, but top 4.
50,
All right.
Yeah.
At least top 4.
That's almost like 10%.
I'll take that as a win. But no, but seriously, like I'm talking about the other stuff that happens in your life. Outside of this podcast, what is it that you do?
I make music,
Okay.
and that's something.
Is that what you love?
Yeah.
Are you collabing with Spooky Kid? Spookies? No?
No. I mean,
So when you say you make music, what do you mean?
I produce music, like I program music.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That makes you happy?
Very, yeah, and that's something like I've had many opportunities to do that corporately, like corporate work, and I've never done it. Yeah, I've had like
Why not?
Not good money?
Why not?
not it's not good money, man. It's just something that's super sacred and super personal to me. I mean, I'm very
Religious.
very very spiritual. Yeah.
Dan, can I analyze you for a second? And I don't mean to.
Yeah, go on.
Do you want to sit in my seat, by the way?
No, no.
Why,
What is happening?
Why would you say, okay, you're 24, 24, right? I think this is a problem that starving young artists have. And I gotta say this about starving young artists. And I don't mean this in a rude way, so please don't take it the wrong way. But a lot of young starving artists, they love the art, they're cool, oh, I'm so badass, blah, 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 but let me go get a day job in order to pay the bills. Why don't you connect the two together so you can, instead of being a starving young artist, be a full young artist?
That's what I'm doing with filmmaking. I work for the podcast.
That's not what you're doing. This is not what you love. What you love is something else.
Right.
Why don't you just do
Don't
that?
you, but don't you
is
love
my
being told
question.
what you love and what you don't, by the way?
Don't get me wrong, I love doing this, alright? Like, never have I ever in my life had access to this type of equipment that we have. Right?
Fair point.
I always work with at max mirrorless cameras. Now we're working with studio grade cinema cameras, alright? The type of
Bro, you're talking technical, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not talking technical. Fuck the cameras. Fuck the
Technicality is a lot
speakers.
of creativity, right? It enables creativity for the most part, especially in filmmaking
All right.
and production.
I mean,
So,
if you're a writer,
okay,
you know,
all right.
you like your favorite pen, right?
I have a better question. So, Dan the man,
Yeah.
he's got all this equipment. He's got the mics, got the cameras, got everything.
Yeah.
What show would you do?
I wouldn't do it.
And it's yours.
wouldn't.
Your show. Your choice.
I wouldn't do a show.
What would you do?
I would make a film.
What film would you make?
Like a feature film.
About?
I would make a film about a
What would your first film be about?
yeah.
You couldn't use these equipment to do that film, by the way.
But what? No,
Not that I'm saying you couldn't be able to because I won't let you because these are not fucking.
Yeah, but I'm
Film
curious.
cameras.
What would the first film of Dan the Man be about?
It would be about a guy who is a brown immigrant in a small town in the US. It's a very small town. Everybody's connected. Everybody's close. But he feels like the town is too small. So, but he's really into fitness. His dream is okay. He wants to start a fitness gym right after he graduates high school. But the last day of school, alright, he has sort of like a gathering at school, and he sees the girl that is interested in try to get assaulted in the bathroom, and he lets himself go and goes a little hard on the person that attempts the assault, and that goes wrong. That person dies. You know, he goes to jail. Goes to jail, and before he goes to jail, he has a very nice family. They're very close, very well connected. They're very all close to each other. 5 years, 6 years later, he comes out to see that his family is so spread apart. His older brother has a family of his own. There's so much family drama, politics. Everything has changed, right? People he grew up with, who are very sweet and near and dear to his heart, are like adults now. They have adult lives. They're very political about everything, right? So he finds work in a garage. Okay, he started like fixing up cars and shit like that. And when he comes out, the town that he loved so much, that is near and dear to his heart, is completely different. Not everybody's close anymore. All right, everybody just lives in their own bubbles and own circles, and he's trying to figure out what is going on because all these 5-6 years in prison, he wanted to come out and resume his life.
Who wrote this? You or Murray?
I wrote it.
Okay, because it sounds like
It's
Murray's
not
life.
written. It's not written. It's not written actually. It's just in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. So then he tries, and then he's never accepted, and he has a problem with not feeling at home anywhere. Okay, and he feels like he felt at home at some point, right? And he doesn't feel at home anywhere. Okay, he meets up with his old buddy. He doesn't feel at home. He goes back to his house. He doesn't feel at home. He meets with his brother's family. He doesn't feel at home. He goes to work where there's people who sort of accept him, regardless of his past and stuff like shit like that. He doesn't feel at home, and there's always his boss, a lady who's always rude to everybody at work, and it's annoying him. But like that's not the top of his priority. Now dealing with her is not. He wants to get his paycheck and hopefully still resume his life. One day it comes to an extremity where his family sort of like tells him he's no longer like welcome. Like, they try to like make it really subtle. Hey, like, maybe, we should create some distance and
Move out,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
We don't want a convict
yeah,
here.
I have kids, and they're being asked at school and shit about all this, and he tries to meet, and he runs into the girl who he committed manslaughter for, and that girl herself sort of avoids him,
Okay.
right? So he kind of loses it.
And then he goes to assault her, and then that assaulter is willing to give him the money
So
to start
Dan,
that
you
project.
really haven't given any thought to this at all, huh?
I have. No, the assaulter is already dead.
Oh,
Remember?
okay.
That's why he's in prison.
Okay.
Shit. Dan,
Right? So he goes to work, and his boss, that rude lady, starts giving him shit, and he lashes out on her. Goes back to prison, realizes this is where he feels at.
so Dan, is
This
this
is why
this, by the way, I have to
Sorry
ask.
to interrupt you. This is, by the way, the reason why we are asking now for your funding. Dan the man is trying to start
Dan the man needs to make a movie,
and we
need the funds for Dan the man to make the movie.
We need the funds, and so we will do, I don't know. Some
Come
sort of
on, he
Patreon.
told an amazing story.
GoFundMe. We'll put it. Well, good. Put
He
GoFundMe
made an amazing
vibe.
story. I think he deserves the funding. When I asked,
How much money are you looking
I
for?
asked if he had thoughts. He clearly has thought about every word in the movie.
Fantastic. So he's looking for 100K. So he's moving it on a
Dollars,
budget.
dinars?
Dollars. He's doing it on a budget.
30,000 dinars, guys.
We're-
Don't be cheap.
We're aiming here, and I think we can get it done over a fortnight, right? And we can get the visas done, and then we can send you off to the US. But I don't think 100K will cover the filming, though.
But,
In the US, no.
No way.
so Dan,
It's not even going to cover
So
the
Dan-
actors, I think.
Yeah,
you clearly have a plan.
I do.
I asked a simple question. You've given to the detail of every page of what the script would look like. So you've clearly given a lot of thought to this.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
Yeah. Hundreds of them.
But you've clearly thought about this. Yeah, like this is what you want to do, basically.
Yeah.
And doing the editing, filming, the behind the scenes stuff is what's paying the bills in order for you to get out to do this. So you believe in the script a lot.
I do.
Man, that's nuts. That's nuts. Dan the man. Guys, seriously, I know I was just joking before, but if you're going to do a GoFundMe, I think he's the guy.
We'll put it on both our pages, and you on Vibe as well, and then let's see if we can get somewhere.
But Dan, let me ask you. So, I mean, I love the vision, and I know this is like down the line. The meantime, today, what is your today looking like? Like, what is your... not what it's looking like. Where do you want your today to be?
I'd like to make enough.
Like, what would you... No,
Go.
sorry, before you answer that question. It's not about the money. What job or task would you be doing today that you would still wake up in the morning and be like, I'm fucking happy. I love what I do. Regardless of the money, by the way. And yeah, I'm going to have a smile on my face because I'm doing what I love to do. What is that for you?
I'll do this.
I thought you answered that question already, no?
This is a nighttime thing. I'm talking about your morning when you wake up.
I'm here since morning.
Do you have another job, Dan?
No, I don't. I do gigs. Yeah. But
Vibe, I guess, but that would be a partnership, no?
yeah.
You're looking at me like, I'm sorry, I know him a little bit.
This is one of my gigs, which consumes a lot of my time. So I spend a lot of time here. But there are other gigs that
But why are you not happy, Dan? Like, I get the movie thing, and you can do that anytime. And you have this gig here, you got your Vibe gig as well. What makes you unhappy then?
I'm happy. I'm not complaining. I have no complaints. I'm just not content. I feel like
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Why are you not content?
because I feel like I'm not doing what I'm called for.
And you're also 26, no?
24.
24, my
Bro,
mistake.
he's young.
So of course he's
young.
not content. He's
If I
hungry.
was 24 and not content, do you know what I was doing at 24?
Stealing money from people. Go on. What were you doing at 24?
Assholes. Assholes. At 24, if I can honestly look back, and I think this is the problem with young
Getting a girl
guys.
pregnant.
What?
Getting a girl pregnant.
Yeah.
That was about right, no? Yeah.
Almost.
Almost, yeah.
What were you doing at 24?
Just finishing my university.
And like nothing interesting in your life at that time.
I was working gigs. I worked for the BBC for a little while.
Which BBC?
UK. I was an editor. I don't know.
I know what he's saying. This is some
Big black cock, I'm guessing. Yeah. But I just chose to ignore it.
If I could take you back to 24, all right, then you know what? I'll take you back to 24. Your age.
Okay, you mean you're going back 24? Because he is 24 at the moment.
He's 24.
Yeah, you're going back
I'm
to
going
24.
to take myself back to 24.
Okay.
I'm wondering where I was at 24. At 24, I was probably working as a teller, cashier, you call it. Teller was a fancy name, for a bank in Australia, which is basically your cashier at the bank. But I say I was the head merchant teller, which is only a $2,000 difference at the end of the year. It was just bullshit. It's just title. But anyway, so I was a teller. I hated my job. I hated my life. Well, I love my life, to be honest. Just hated the job. Do you hate your life or do you hate your job? Neither. So you love both. It's amazing. So your 24 is way better. No, my point is that your 24 is way better than what my 24 was. Well, I didn't know where life would take me. And I didn't know what I was destined for. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I was a teller at a bank. And by the way, the funny thing is that I'm still in touch with people I used to work with when I was 24. You know what I mean? And we're in touch on WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram. And the funny thing is a lot of people are still in the same job. Nothing against that. I'm not talking badly about that at all. But I'm saying when you're hungry and you know what you want to do, and no matter what job you get, even if it pays you more, if someone paid you more to not make your movie versus getting paid less to do your movie, what would you do? The latter. Like Sylvester Stallone, he wrote Rocky. No one wanted him to act in it. He said, I'll take no money or less money, but I want to be the actor. He just knew. Did you know that about Rocky?
I thought it was self-funded, wasn't it?
No.
No, it did get funding?
Sylvester Stallone actually wrote the movie Rocky, and the production studios wanted to buy it, the script.
Yeah.
And they were offering him like 150 grand, 200 grand, whatever it was in that day. And he said, no, listen, I want to be an actor. But they're like, but you can't speak. We don't want you as an actor. You can't even talk English.
Do you remember what his name was for the boxing match? Italian Stallion.
Italian Stallion, of course.
And do you know why it was called Italian Stallion? Because that was his porn name. Because he used to do porn.
But you know what the funniest thing about that is? You remember the dog in the movie?
Okay, I'm worried.
In
Where's
Rocky
this going?
4. No, in Rocky 4 anyway.
Yeah.
Remember the dog?
Yeah.
That was the actual dog. His real dog. No, but that's not the funny part.
All right.
Do you remember there was a dog in the movie?
Yeah.
That was his real dog.
Yeah.
But do you know what the amazing thing about the dog is? He could not afford to pay the fees. He sold his dog on the street to get money in order to get the script of Rocky happening. And then when Rocky made it, he offered the new owner of the dog 2, 3, 4 times the money. And the guy's like, I'm not going to sell it. And then he offered him 10 times just to get the dog back.
Yeah.
Did you know that? The crazy thing about that dog. He knew it.
You did?
That was, by the way, like that dog had a lot of sentimental value into that movie.
Spilling.
I'm sorry.
No worries. But yeah, down the man. But I don't think you're going to be contempt regardless. Even if you get your budget of 100 million, you do 100,000.
No,
then you're going to move on to the bigger one.
I'll be honest, bro. Like, you don't look content. Like,
he's also 24. What do you want from him?
No. See, my. Okay. We gotta analyze this right now. All right, we gotta get a hustle kitchen session going here. I met a lot of 24-year-olds. Dan the man.
Yes.
I met a lot of 24-year-olds before.
Okay.
But there's something in your eyes, and I know this is very cliche, and I don't want to go cliche. There's something in your eyes that is just like, you're hungry. I can sense the hunger. But you're also angry. Why are you angry?
Why am I angry? Let me think about this. Because I've been fucked over, like every time. Why else am I angry? Because I feel like I don't get what I deserve, even though I do the work. I feel like I'm stuck here. Yeah, I feel like I could be a lot more elsewhere.
I agree with you, by the way. But can I, just to like clarify that point, so are you actually like, people have fucked you over, so you have trust issues now?
No, not
What makes you angry?
Not specifically. It's made me more careful in terms of doing. I used to do things on verbal basis. Now I've moved on to no contract, no work.
So were you smiling before?
Was I
Or
smiling?
you always never been a smiling person?
No, I feel like I smile, but I'm more comfortable in my close circle. I'm very wild and very, very unpredictable when I'm in my close circle. When I'm with people who I'm meeting for the first time and in a professional setting, I'm very reserved and I get this a lot.
Do you know what? I've met a lot of people who, as a first time professional, reserved, I say they put on a mask. I call it a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and don't get me wrong, maybe I'm wrong, I think I'm an expert in bringing the mask down. But why? Because I'm not a faker, pretender. I am who I am. I am what it says on the tin can. I mean, you've seen me for like the last 2 hours. And I don't pretend to be something I'm not. You know what I mean? But what I wonder about you is, I get it. Bad experience in the past. I really want to know, what is that next step right now? You still look angry. This is the thing. No, I don't get it, bro. You just look angry. Why are you so angry, bro?
I'm just thinking the next step.
By the way, do you think I have a mask?
No, I don't know. I don't think you have a mask now. From
but
these
you don't
past
care.
like
I get
3-4 hours, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. But why do you put on a mask?
I don't think I do. I feel like
I feel like you do.
Okay. Why do you feel like I do?
Because, see, they say the eyes is the window to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
You look like an amazing guy.
I am.
And I know you are. I know you are. See, this is the first time you smile.
Yeah.
But there's something that's defensive. And I get it. Because if I was 24, dealt with assholes previously in my life, I would be the same. I would be the same. I would actually act the same way as you. Don't know who to trust or who I can't trust or whatever. And sort of angry in life. Except to the day that, okay, I know it sounds stupid. And like the whole jail thing that you make a joke about it, right?
Yeah.
But do you know what? Do you know why I know I'm mature now?
Why is that?
Because if I was in my 20s and I went to jail, I'd be so fucking pissed off and I'd be so fucking angry with the world, with everyone, with anything in me. Bro, don't fucking come near me. You know what I mean? At that time, I'd be so, especially when you're wrongfully accused.
Mm-hmm.
In my older years, because I'm 39, turning 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a 40-year-old man, I'm like, dude, what do I have left? 10 years? From 40 to 50? That's my prime. After 50, fuck it, I'm just an old man. So I got 10 good years left ahead of me. During your 20s, God bless, you still got another 30 years or something ahead of you. I got 10, right? So whatever you're thinking, I need to like 3x do it that fast, right? Because how sexy am I going to look as a 60-year-old man in a Porsche?
Very.
No, I don't believe that. Sure, to some Barbie bimbo bitch. I'm talking about to reality. I'm still a 60-year-old man
I would fuck
with
a
wrinkly...
60-year-old in a
No, but I'll
Porsche.
still be a 60-year-old man with wrinkly skin and I'm still 60 years old. Like,
That's a
let's
sexy
get over
raisin.
that. My point is, now, today, I'm not 60.
Yeah.
I'm 39. I think I'm fucking sexy right now. I got my time.
Debatable.
Well, sure.
Okay.
I'm not asking a man's point of view on this. But in any case, I'm saying...
statements on women on what they find sexy.
Yeah, listen, chicks, if you think I'm sexy, I'm available on Tinder, or you can hit me on my WhatsApp with 33 beep. No, but but seriously, I don't care what women think. It's not about women. Listen, life is not about women. Women, great, entertainment in our lives, but it's not it's not the reason why you're upset or I'm upset or anyone else upset or angry. We want to have goals. We have goals. We set targets for ourselves and we're going to achieve it. So those goals, by the way, have nothing to do, not woman, not man. Like, it's not a sexual thing at all. It's about, do you know what, Dan? If you met me when I was 20 something, and they'd be like, and you asked me like what your goal in life is, right? I would say, when I'm 30, I want to have 1 million. And when I'm 40, I want to have 10 million. And when I'm 50, I want to have 100 million. This is if you ask me in my 20s, right? That was my lifetime thought, my thinking, my train of thought. Since I was 18, not even 20, right? And then I was like, shit, I'm now 39. I don't even have the 1 million. Like, I wanted to have that by 30, right? And now I'm like almost 40. So 40, I should be on 10 million. But I didn't even have the 1. And you know, every year my birthday comes and I'm like, okay, push it, bro. 6 months, let's make it. 3 months, let's make it. You know, whatever, you bullshit yourself. You know what I mean? And then I realized something. So those were targets that I set for myself as a goal for myself, because I'm being hard on myself. Because if I don't hold myself accountable, then who is? I don't hold myself accountable to society. I don't care what society thinks. Society can go screw themselves. The only person that matters, that tells me whether I should be doing more or less, is me. Because it's my life. So today, I've never been happier. Do you know why? 39 years old. Do I have that 10 million? No. But you know what? We joke about those prison stuff and stuff. I'm grateful to just wake up every morning. When I wake up every morning, I'm like, fuck, I'm alive, bro. I could have been dead. But I'm alive now. But if I'm alive, am I going to be some sort of pussy boy and waste my time being alive? Or am I going to take the maximum exposure of this on my time, by the way, under no one else's pressure? I think the biggest problem that people have is that it's not where you are in life, it's where people expect you to be. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But if it's just your choice and your decision, whether you decide to do fuck all, whether you decide to do everything, but it's your choice. And there's no other involvement from anyone. Does that not make you feel better in that situation where it's like, I hold myself accountable to my own decisions?
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
So
yeah.
every morning I wake up fucking grateful that I'm just alive. That's the first thing. When I open my eyes, I'm like, I'm alive. And when shit goes bad, do you know what I do?
What's that?
We joke about jail. I close my eyes. I pretend I'm in that prison cell. And you know how shitty that feels, right? Mm-hmm. Then I open my eyes and I'm like, be grateful, motherfucker. You got fresh air. So that, for me, it pushes me. I'm like, I'm free. I can do what I want. When I was in jail, by the way, for that 2 days, And my brother was with me, and both of us innocent completely. And I told my brother, and I was like, this is my younger brother, by the way. So how old are you again?
24.
He's 25. So you're the same age,
Yeah.
right? And I told my brother, and I was like, listen, no matter how shit you thought your life was, when you're in prison, right? If I told you, I'll let you out of prison if you make 100 sales calls a day, is that better, or is staying here and eating prison food better?
The former.
Obviously, being out is better, right? So life is easy. Money is fake. Everything is fake, bro. All this pressure is brought by some society that you don't even care about. You should just leave that to a side, bro. Imagine you had nothing. And now you have what you have today. Then you feel so much more amazing about what you have right now. And you can feel like a fucking Superman because you have super abilities to go out there and do whatever you want compared to being in a cage, if that makes sense. So I said, you know what? All these people who think they're weak, they have mommy, daddy issues, whatever, throw them in jail for a week. They're going to come out and they can fucking love their lives. You don't need therapy.
So what's the point?
Point is, instead of being miserable, and I'm sure you're not, it's just your face. You know,
You're saying I have a miserable face?
you have a miserable face.
Okay.
Okay, with a girl, I would say, I mean, there's a known terminology for this, right? They call it resting bitch face.
Yeah.
You almost have a resting bitch face for a guy. But why is that? But there's a lot behind it, and I get it.
Okay.
Unless I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm full of shit.
I think what you said the last is right. You're wrong. Yeah. It's just, there's nothing much to it. When you ask me why I'm angry, I told you some things I'm angry about. I'm not angry in life.
Sure.
I'm cool.
Sure. Screwed over by people, basically.
Yeah,
Screw
but
them.
haven't we all been screwed over by somebody?
We are.
Yeah. I'm not angry about it. I'm not mad at those people. It is what it is, you know?
Do you think you're too cool for school?
Too cool for school? No.
Just a general question.
Yeah. No, I did drop
I'm just
out,
trying
though.
to get you. You're the one character I can't get. You know, I'm a very good people's person. You're that one character I can't figure you out
Yeah.
at all. What am I missing?
I don't... Dick jokes?
No, but seriously, what am I missing?
It's behind that counter over there.
What?
You want me to leave?
So you're being serious because of him?
No.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
No.
No, seriously, I feel like I'm missing.
I don't know. What are you trying to figure out, man? I don't know what you're missing. I don't know what you're on about. What's the point here? What are you trying to accomplish?
There's no point. There's nothing I'm trying to accomplish. I'm just trying to figure who you are.
It's not that deep.
Sam?
No.
Summarize yourself in one word, Daddy.
Cool.
There you go.
What's up with you and Vibes, by the way? What's that connection?
Like I hit you up like 3-4 months ago.
No, not me.
Yeah.
I'm saying you and Vibes.
Yeah, so like similar to how I hit you up, I hit up Ghassan. I was like, yo, you know what? Do you guys need any you looking to outsource any of your production? Okay, and I took a meeting. Ghassan was like, no, but we can collaborate. I was like, no, fuck no. You know, I've had enough collaborations, you know?
You don't trust collaborations anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, we can collaborate. But I know.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill me now. But I don't mean that in a rude way, by the way.
No,
we
I
can
know.
actually collaborate.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, Vibe, I felt like they have a lot more structure other than all of my other collaborations. I felt like they had a lot of potential and they were hungry, like me.
So what's the deal now? Partner?
Yeah. Creative director, partner, do their content, improve the page a lot.
Are you the one posting?
Yep.
You're the one. So all those purple, pink stuff, that's you.
100%. Well, the purple pink was already there, and they want to retain it along with
So
the
you're a
changes I
graphic
brought.
designer as well, or is just a videographer?
Yeah, I mean, no, my background is graphic design.
So what brought you into video?
So, I mean, I always wanted to be a filmmaker. So I just did graphic design. Then my first job was working as a social media marketing person.
Which company?
Hanko Rent-A-Car.
I don't know. Them.
Yeah, Exhibition Road. Apparently the first rent-a-car in Bahrain, according to them. And
So rent-a-car?
Yeah.
Okay, so as a client?
No, I was
Like,
working
not
for
an
them.
agency. That's
I was
So
employed.
you're doing it for the rent-a-car?
Yeah, I was employed.
Okay. No, I mean, as in you weren't working for an agency. You were working for a client.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and they weren't paying me because they were bankrupt. And so I left
Can
after
I
3
hire
months.
you?
You can hire...
I don't want to. I would never hire you, by the way.
Yeah, I can...
You know what?
You
I
can
would never
outsource some of
hire
your
you.
services to me, yes.
I would work with you.
Yeah.
But I would never hire you.
Yeah.
That. By the way, it is actually a compliment. It is actually a compliment. I would never hire you, but I would always work with you.
Why is that?
Because you are the guy, like, if I want to hire someone, I could tell he's a soldier, but I can tell you're a general. And there's a difference. I would never hire a general. I hire soldiers. Does that make sense? It's a compliment to you.
Good luck what? Yeah.
No, I'm saying it's a compliment to you.
Don't have to worry, I'm a god.
But no, seriously, like
Yeah.
that's why.
I feel you, yeah. I agree.
I feel like we can collab, we can work at joint ventures, we can do partnerships and stuff. But I would not hire you as an employee because it doesn't make sense. You would never be happy. I don't want people who are unhappy around me. Bro, I have my own problems with being happy. I don't need depressed people around me. But I can make you happy through partnerships. If that makes sense.
Yeah. If it pays, it makes me happy.
If it pays. Sometimes projects don't pay. Do you have the patience?
I do. I am doing it with Vibe.
Okay. Cool. Wow. Man, appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
By the way, guys, not about Vibe. Tell about this podcast. How long have you been working this podcast for?
2-3 months now, I think.
Your salary's coming the third month on the 14th.
Yeah. So that's 2 months.
Okay, by the way, guys, let me tell you something about this podcast. I watched the previous clips. So there was ugly clips 3 months ago. And then there was time when Dan the Man joined. If you saw the difference in quality, that is Dan the Man
Yep.
who made that difference.
Yep.
Is that true, by the way? Podcast owner, in case he has a problem with that. But I think since Dan the Man joined, the podcast clips, the quality, everything's up there.
Thank you very much.
Is that fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Don't call me sir. I'm Hussain. Your friend.
Okay, Hussain.
No, Hassan. Oh my God. All right, boys. Thank you for watching this episode of The Unsold Truths. The biggest unsold truth on this episode was the name of the podcast host. And he does not write his name anywhere. Hamad.
Go sit down. Let me join on this for 2 seconds. So this was by far some of the weirdest conversation I've been a part of. This was not Unsolved Truth. This was Hustle Kitchen. Yeah, that's that branding, and we're gonna send that video straight to you, son.
Hustle Kitchen, come on our podcast. You both of you invited as guests always.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Are we invited together or separately?
Up to you guys.
How do you want to play it?
Do you know what? I'm gonna hijack him.
Sure.
On a couple of episodes,
Sure.
but not on a podcast.
Sure.
Because I think it bothers the fuck out of him.
Okay.
It bothers you?
How are you getting?
I-
how are
I-
you getting more gigs than me? And I'm like, isn't that amazing?
It's the smile.
I didn't.
It's a
I didn't-
smile, yeah.
I didn't say bother. I said bored. It bores the fuck out of him. I'm gonna give him entertaining stuff, vlogs. You think my vlogs are 80s? You'll have more fun shooting the vlogs than the podcast.
No, I'm saying that vlogs do not have a reach anymore. The market is dead. It doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, tell that to my fans.
Hey, that's fine. I mean, Bahrain is 5 years behind the West. But if you're talking about keeping up with what's current and growing in a larger industry, vlogs are dead. Vlogs are dead.
Doing right now, then?
Content creation wise, I think scripted stories, like Mr. Beast kind of stuff. Not like these kind of like Casey Neistat vlogs. That ain't gonna fly.
No, we're not talking about that, right? So I did the 100,000 watch, the 1.3 million apartment.
Sure.
That was very typical. The next one, okay.
Would you call that as a vlog though?
It was a vlog. Yeah, it's a vlog.
A vlog would be an insight of someone's daily life. No,
No.
That's what I would consider a vlog.
Okay, so you're mistaking what a vlog is. A vlog is just like a 5-10 minute video of whatever's going on in your life. And it doesn't have to be about your life.
So you don't. So what would you consider Casey Neistat?
So my content, no, that is a personal vlog.
Okay.
But it's not, when I say vlog, I just mean like a 5-6 minute video of reviewing or doing or whatever you're doing with anything.
So what would be Jake Paul?
That's
But Casey
vlog.
Neistat also does pay $30,000 flight ticket and shit like that. You know?
But I wouldn't like challenges and Mr. Beast and like giving $1 million.
That's a vlog. By the way,
That's not vlogging to me.
But technically, it's still a vlog.
Maybe I don't know the definition of what a vlog
Technically,
is.
it's a vlog.
I don't know what
a
the.
vlog is a video blog, right?
I would like I just said, I wouldn't consider
Alright,
Jake Paul or Casey Neistat as sorry, Mr. Beast as vlogs.
Okay. So before we end this, let me just clarify this on video,
Sure.
since you're recording.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get my Andrew Tate position.
Now you're getting into that persona. You got the sunglasses on.
Tuck your belly.
Yeah. Bring out the muscles.
Do I tuck it more? Should I suck it more?
Losing up on one word now.
Yeah.
Should I loosen up one more button? All right, let's go.
Nah, actually,
You're requiring that gay shit.
As a director, what is that? Is that okay?
That's sexy, isn't it? Yeah, great.
Listen. Yeah, look. Give me the professional opinion here.
Brilliant.
All right, I'm gonna do this thing. Okay, guys. No matter what you think, I can review places, I can record places, I can do vlogs, I can do posts. But here's one thing. I will never, ever be an influencer. And I'll tell you why. Because if a burger sucks, I will never tell you that it's good. So I made one rule in my life. If I think your business sucks, I just won't make a video about it because I don't want to break your heart, right? It's very easy to break your heart. But I do not want to be one of those weak boys who say your business is amazing, yet your business is horrible. So I'll always promise to be honest and give you my honest feedback. But anyway, that is my version of what a Husaini vlog or review would be. Peace.
I'm willing to take any amount of money to say whatever the fuck you want me to say.
give me any money, I'll make any movie.